Okay, we are live. Hello everyone, welcome, welcome, welcome. Very happy to be here with you. It's been a while, it's been a month since we've last seen each other, and I hope you can all hear me well. At least I can see that the sound looks to me like it's working. I hope it does. So thank you so much for joining me today on this Friday afternoon. Today it's a very special day. Like, this is the return. A lot of people have asked me for this, Hugo, when are you going to do the show reviews? Because I used to do them on Twitch all the time. I did them for years. We used to do them once a week, sometimes even twice a week. And a lot of people asked me, like, when are they coming back? When are they coming back? And so now they are here. Here they are. We're now going to return to have honest showreel reviews. These will be every month, so you can submit every month your showreel to be reviewed by me. And sometimes we'll have guests as well, sometimes. So, which will be cool. So sometimes it won't be just me reviewing. Sometimes I'll bring in other supervisors and then the senior people that will be reviewing with me. Today I'll be doing it alone by myself. And yeah, it's the return of a type of video that people really loved. I really enjoyed it as well. And I guess it's like an opportunity for people to have access to professional reviewing, because in my time as a visual effects supervisor, especially at the mill and especially at Prodyut Smoke and on all the other places that I worked for, I've done this for a living. I used to review showreels all the time, and I used to do interviews with people, and so I'm just like trying to help all of you as much as I can for you to try to land your favorite company's job, and try to land the job that you want. So yeah, so this is going to be cool. It's going to be once a month. Now, it goes without saying that this is only happening because I got a lovely sponsor to sponsor these streams. So I really would like to thank BenQ Europe for supporting these streams and actually making them possible. it's without a fact, like without BenQ, I couldn't have done these streams and even returned to the showreel reviews. So thank you so much, BenQ, for all the support you give me. So I would like already to mention to everyone that I was inundated by showreels. So I received 20 showreels to review, which that's never going to happen. I'm never going to do 20 in one go. So please don't be sad or disappointed if we don't review your showreel today. As I mentioned on all the links, we were going to do this first come, first serve. I believe that I can probably do 5. Let's see if I can do 5. Maybe we'll do 4. I don't know. So that means that 26 of you or 25 of you will be disappointed. But don't worry, we'll do this every month. And I guess if we start seeing that we have this many people submitting showreels, I might consider doing it twice a month. Maybe I need to do that. So I think I wasn't really expecting this positive, but I guess it was to be expected. I guess if you think about it, because I haven't done showreel reviews in such a long time, so this is like the first showreel review I do. Well, I did one on the anniversary stream, but before that it was like 2 years ago. So yeah, apologies for all the delay on doing this again. So let's just get the show started. I'm going to start by, and also, yeah, don't forget, there's going to be a giveaway as well. I'm also going to be giving away my course, my Nuke course, for free to a few people on the chat as well. I'm going to actually take the opportunity to put the link on the chat. So I can see a lot of familiar faces on the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Twice a week? No, that's not gonna happen. Fran is saying that he wanted me to do twice a week. That's not gonna happen. That's too much, man. Come on, I'm only human. Okay, so first off, let's just I wanted to just like thank everyone that supported this stream. I'm gonna just start by giving my dues to the lovely people at BenQ. So don't forget to check out BenQ's website. I've been working with BenQ for a while, and especially their designer monitors. They have a lot of really amazing monitors with really good pricing as well. So go and check out BenQ. They are the main sponsors of this event, so thank you so much, BenQ, for this. Also, if you want, you can also follow them on Facebook. They're very active on Facebook, and there's actually quite a lot of events that they do. They do a lot of webinars, sometimes photography, sometimes Photoshop, sometimes retouching. You should really check them out because they always publish them on the BenQ's, the IKEA Caller by BenQ Facebook page, and also the BenQ Facebook page. They also do that on Instagram as well. They're always like promoting really amazing webinars, as you can see here. Have a webinar about photography during the night, a webinar about grading, a webinar about digital masterclass. I mean, taking photos in Northern Lights. They have always very interesting photographers giving them a lot of really cool tips and a lot of webinars. So check out their Instagram as well. And of course, again, thank you so much for sponsoring this stream, BenQ. Thank you so much to all of you out there, and especially Vincento. Thank you so much, Vincento, if you're watching. Thank you so much. Muito obrigado. Okay, so I'm going to do a bit of shameless promotion as well, so don't forget to follow me on Twitter, although we don't know if Twitter is going to last the night. But if it is still here tomorrow, if Twitter is still here tomorrow, go follow me on Twitter. I'm on Hugo Guerra. I'm having a lot of fun on Twitter. Twitter has been very enjoyable lately. So go and check it out. My Twitter is Hugo Guerra. Also, I have Hugo's Desk on Twitter as well. Maybe check that out as well, where I'm always pinning the events in the stream so that you can have all the latest news about Hugo's Desk. Also, make sure you connect me on LinkedIn. I always like to talk with people on LinkedIn. I'm almost on 20,000 followers on LinkedIn, so maybe if you're not connected to me on LinkedIn, just connect. I really would love to get to 20K here. So I'm only like shy of 260 people, so I really wish I can get to there. Yeah, Fran, that's right. If there's no Twitter, we can meet at Mastodon. I'm there as well already. I haven't really put the photo yet or the profile, but I have done an account there. So you'll probably find me there. But I'm having a lot of fun on Twitter. I'm not going to leave. So yeah, follow me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is always the best place to connect to me. And of course, goes without saying, subscribe to Hugo's Desk. I'm always very shocked to know that 50% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. Shame on you. You should be subscribed. So Hugo's Desk on Twitter, on YouTube. I'm almost at 50,000 subscribers. I'm 49.6, almost there. So, and in here you can find my podcast that I do with Ian Fales, the before and afters, from before and afters. We just recently did Nope. You can also find keynotes. This is a keynote for about the Sniper Elite 5 I did at FMX. You can also find podcast episodes about Uncharted, about RRR, which is my favorite film of the year. You can also find like climate change panels I've done for FMX, tutorials, workshops, you name it. We have hundreds of videos here. You can check it out. And so yeah, do subscribe to my channel, please, so that I can kind of keep going on my main objective, which is to get to 100K, 100,000K. I can see that the VFX Artist Podcast is here as well. Thank you so much for joining my stream. I just recently was a guest on their podcast, so you should check them out as well. I'm going to put them on the screen here for you guys to check it out. So if you have not subscribed to the VFX Artist Podcast, you should go and subscribe. They're very good. I'm not saying that because I was a guest recently. Not saying that. I was the last guest that they had 2 days ago, but they have an amazing collection of podcasts here. And yeah, you guys should go and support this venture, because it's really catered for artists, and they talk a lot with personal artists of the industry. And they have some amazing interviews here, including the latest one that they did with me, but they also have with ActionVFX. They have so many people here that are really kind of well known on the industry. Some of them are not well known, which is really cool that they are giving a voice to other people in these with their platform. So feel free to go and support the VFX Artist Podcast, because they do need your support. Let's get this number into 1,000. Okay, let's go for it. Let's try to support them. Cool. So also, if you want, you can also check my Instagram account. I have a lot of photos there. I just recently was in Portugal visiting my mom. So here's my mom here. I'm having a beer with her. So you can go to Instagram. It's a bit more a personal account, but you can go there and check. I also have a Hugo's Desk account as well, but it's feel free to if you want to use it or not. I do have a Hugo's Desk, which is more corporate, a Hugo's Desk Instagram account as well, where I basically just put my podcasts and my videos. Also, I have Facebook. I have 3 Facebooks, actually. I have the main Facebook page, which now has followers as well. And then I, of course, have the Hugo's Desk page on Facebook, and I also have the Hugo's Desk's page as well. And then, of course, the giveaway. Don't forget that I've posted it. I'm giving away 3 Nuke courses today during the stream. We're going to be, I know, it's a Heineken glass, right? I know. It's funny that you noticed that. It's so funny because I swear to God, I'm drinking a Superbock, okay? I swear to God, I am. And a Superbock, which is a Portuguese beer. And then they gave me a Heineken glass. And it's so awkward. Like, I can prove it, I'm going to go in here and show you. There you go. No, it's not this one here. It's this one here. So, yeah, I think, where did I put the other photo? Oh, I didn't put the other photo. I thought, it was on Twitter. Yeah, sorry. Get confused with social media myself. I think it was on Twitter that I did that. Yeah, there we go. So you see, this is so funny because they gave me a Superbock, which is a very well-known beer in Portugal, and then they gave me a Heineken glass. It's such a weird thing. So, but it's fun that they did that. I guess they don't really realize. But yeah, the giveaway is here as well. We already have 27 people getting in. So yeah, we'll be doing the giveaway during the stream. You know me, I'm always doing breaks, and I'm always doing stop and go. We're going to try to do 5 people today. Maybe we're going to do 4. I don't know. We'll see. I am so blessed and so thankful that so many people submitted their showreel. BenQ is also very happy with this. This is all the people we got on the showreel. And as you can see, is a lot. All these people submitted a showreel. We have 20 of them here. So again, I'm so sorry if you're not going to be shown today, but I am going to I'm going to be basically reviewing the first people that contacted me and sent and submitted, because the instructions were you had to submit the showreel, and then you had to contact me and confirm that you're going to be here today, and only these 5 people confirmed that they're going to be here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only them confirmed that they're going to be here. So yeah, but don't worry, we'll go back to that again. Don't worry about that at all. Okay, so before we go, and yes, I do agree with everyone on the chat saying the VFX Artist Podcast is a great podcast. It is. But don't forget about my podcast as well, the VFX Notes Podcast with Ian Fales. Also check that one out as well. I do have a playlist for it as well, so I'm going to actually leave it here on the, where is it? Sorry. There we go. So the VFX Notes Podcast, which has 36 episodes now, so you guys should also check it out, where me and Ian Fales from Before and Afters disconstruct visual effects. Okay, can't believe there's almost 100 people watching. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. Okay, as promised, we're going to do the reviews, but remember, as I said on the post, I was also going to give some tips and some little, I just wanted to introduce everyone here to what I think a showreel should have. So I'm going to do that by a short keynote. Now, this keynote presentation was partly made for a video I made years ago. So on my YouTube channel, I have a video about making a showreel. Most of these slides are from there, but I'm going to go quite fast on these slides. I just wanted to give you a little pointer of the showreel before we start reviewing the showreel. So let's start with that. Start by me giving you a few pointers, and then we'll continue. Now, I'll give you the intro.
Do it! Just do it!
Oh my God, that was too loud. Sorry about that. He's too loud. Just a little bit of motivation to do a showreel.
Do it! Just do it!
I guess so.
Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true!
Okay, that's fine. So yeah, so just like Shia LaBeouf said, make sure you do your dreams make sure your dreams come true. So I just wanted to give you a few pointers about showreels and about what you should really be thinking about when you create your showreel, and also about your interview and about how you kind of approach this kind of thing. So you're probably one of these people that have watched Jurassic Park or watched Star Wars, and you want to be in this industry and you kind of don't know where to start really. I know a lot of you already have done that, but I just wanted to make sure I come across to the younger people on this stream. Also, I do know for a fact that there are people watching that are not in this industry and they would like to be on this industry. And of course, don't forget that some people are going to watch this later. They're going to watch the VOD. So I'm basically talking to them now. So if you already have a showreel, or if you're already a very successful artist, just skip ahead 10 minutes and then I'll be back. But you've watched Jurassic Park, love VFX. What should you do next? How do you get into the industry? That's always the common questions that people have into these kind of things. Sorry, I just want to make sure this is all good. Yeah. One thing I want to let you know is that I can't see the chat while I'm presenting the keynote. So bear that in mind. So leave the questions for a bit later, in about 10 minutes or so, because I cannot see the chat while I'm presenting this, because it's in full screen right now. I should have checked it. I should have really did it in a different way, but I didn't, and I apologize for that. I'm just gonna just double check if what I'm saying is true. Just making sure it is working fine, and that you're actually seeing the keynote. I'm gonna just watch my phone here for a second. And I do apologize for this. You know how my streams are. They're always a little bit of a garbage truck on fire. Always like that. It's always the case. So, yeah, the chat is, I can actually, that's good. I can actually see the chat on my phone if I need to, which is good. Okay, cool. So, yeah, I'm going to put it back into my presentation. So as you know, my presentations are always a bit all over the place. So as I said, I would like to put a few points out for how you approach a showreel and why you should do it and how you should approach this entire thing. So the first question I get a lot by people, even before they do a showreel, is if they need to have a visual effects degree. A lot of people think they need a degree. Some people think they don't need a degree. It's always a bit of a mess, and no one really knows the answer. And I guess I'm going to confuse you even further by saying that the answer is yes, but it's also no, and it's also maybe. Because yes, maybe you should do a degree. Maybe no, you don't need one. Maybe. Because in fact, the only thing that matters is, only thing that matters is a showreel. For you to get a job on this industry, that is literally the only thing that matters. If you don't do a showreel, you're not gonna get anywhere. So I wanted to mention that the degree thing, the question that people have about the degrees, is really pivotal for people to understand that becoming a visual effects artist is not just about clicking the buttons. It's not just about knowing the software. And that's why sometimes the degree could be useful. And I'm not saying, again, I'm not saying that people need to have a degree, but it does help to at least have some knowledge of these things. So I would put forward that you should, of course, have focus on core skills. And core skills, which means composition, which means photography, means fine arts, means light, color, and actually be a scholar of cinema. I would really recommend you to be that. And with that in mind, photography by far is the most important thing that you want to really focus on to develop as an artist. And this is independent if you're going to be a compositor, if you're going to be a generalist, if you're going to be a lighter, if you're going to be a modeler. It does not matter. You should learn photography because that's the base of our entire industry. Photography will allow you to understand how lenses work and what the language of lenses can provide you by providing you images with a different emotion, and different ramifications by using different lenses. As you can see here on this example, all the way coming from a 20 mil all the way to a 140 to a 200 mil, the difference that a lens makes. The standing language of lenses is all about photography. Obviously, I'm really oversimplifying this. And then, of course, you should learn from the masters. I would really recommend you to check out the work of McCullen as well, and I would really recommend you to check out the work, a lot of filmmakers as well. And I'm not saying, when I'm talking about filmmakers in cinema, and I'm not talking about this kind of loop recycling thing that is happening on Marvel movies, okay? I'm not talking about that. This is really just content, really. These films are taking some inspiration from cinema, but they are really just content. They're just basically disposable films for you to watch, just like when you go to a McDonald's. And for me, it's more important for you to study the masters so that you can kind of become more proficient of this language. And this means going all the way back to Eisenstein and going all the way back to see his work. And because he was one of the first people to do visual effects, which is editing, really. Editing was the first visual effect that existed in the world. And Kubrick, of course, go and check his work. Go and check the work of Francis Ford Coppola. Go and check the work of Ingrid Bergman, Orson Welles, Tarkovsky, Fritz Lang is super important as well. Alfred Hitchcock, of course, as well. Fellini, I would really recommend you to check the work of Cronenberg, to check the work of David Lynch as well, to check the work of David Fincher. By the way, there are three Davids, right? If you think about it, we have David Cronenberg, David Lynch, and then David Fincher. It's a lot of Davids on cinema. So, and these people are gonna, that's the thing really that I want to emphasize. If you want to be the best, you need to learn from the best. That's the main thing that you need to really come across here, and that's why I'm showing you this. Because I strongly believe that having a very big focus in photography and cinema will help you on your career forever. It doesn't matter what software you're using. It doesn't really matter. And again, another question that people a lot ask me when they're doing their showreel is, can I learn everything from YouTube? Well, no, you can't learn everything from YouTube. YouTube is great, don't get me wrong. It's amazing. But need to be careful because just look at this. And these are already a few years old, okay? As you can see, my channel only had 20,000 subscribers. I already have 50. So this is an old screen grab. These are just the 3 first pages when you put compositing on YouTube. And as you can see, it's a mess. We have hundreds of channels of compositing on YouTube. And then when you put visual effects on YouTube, these are just the 3 first pages of visual effects channels. Again, a mess. How do you know who these people are? If they're worth you watching, if they're good enough, if they're not good enough, if they're full of shit? How do you do all those things? And so, how the hell do you know who is an actual good teacher? That's a really important thing. If you're going to become a good artist and if you're going to do a good showreel, how do you detect that? And so my main thing would be Google. First thing you should do is to Google who that person is. If you can't find who that person is from that YouTube channel, then that's already suspicious. You probably shouldn't look at that channel. And then if you could find it, then if you find their name and you can start finding some websites, then you can go and check in Internet Movie Database if they actually have done anything, if they have credits, if they've worked in the industry. Because you don't want to learn from someone that has never done anything. You want to learn from someone experienced, And second point on that would be to go to LinkedIn. It's important to go to LinkedIn to check the profile of this person that is teaching you. And also not just the profile, but to check what kind of companies they worked on and if they actually have the chops to teach you. It's very important to use LinkedIn as a tool for research. Research of the YouTube channels, research of the people that are actually teaching you. And then from there, you can either select the best people from YouTube or go to their online courses as well, which there are many. But that's just like a little part. So after you've studied all of those things, you've studied the correct YouTube channels, you've studied everything, now you think you know VFX, I know VFX, okay, that's fine. So how do you make a great showreel? A great showreel is really, again, like it's like, like the old cards that you would give, the business cards. It's like a business card, really. The showreel is going to tell everything about your work, and it's going to inform the recruitment people who you are and what kind of technical prowess or creative skills you have. So first things first, don't forget to put your name, your phone, and your email on the showreel. It's very important for them to be able to reach you. So that's really important. Also, I would really recommend you to skip all these fancy intros. There's no point whatsoever you fixating on making really strange intros and doing motion graphics. No one cares, okay? Just literally no one cares. I always skip them when I'm watching them. So skip the fancy intros. Please, for the love of God, and I'm not even religious, do not make it longer than 2 minutes. I don't want to grow old by watching a showreel. Whenever I see a showreel that is more than 2 minutes long, there's only one exception. The only time a showreel can be more than 2 minutes is if you're watching a commercial showreel. If you're watching a commercial showreel from a company or from an artist promoting himself to sell something, that's different. If you look at Foundry's showreel, it's 3 minutes long. That's fine. If you look at Framestore's showreel, yeah, sure, it's 4 minutes or 3 minutes. That doesn't matter. But if you're an artist trying to get a job, do not make them more than 2 minutes. Of course, it can be 2 minutes and a half, 3. Okay, that's fine. But try to be concise and try to have your best work there and just skip everything else. And always start with your best work, because you don't imagine the amount of times that I've skipped a showreel because the first shot sucks. If the first shot sucks, no, I'm not even going to watch the rest, because if you have chosen to put a bad shot on the beginning, my first reaction is the rest is going to be even worse. So why am I going to waste time watching the rest? So I skip it completely. And then, of course, you should remove anything you're not sure about. If there's even the slightest doubt that something is not as good as you think it is, you should be deleting it. If you even have like a shred of doubt, oh, this shot is probably not as good as I thought, delete it. Do not have it. Kill your darlings. Don't even think about it. And please do not have any metal music or trance music or really aggressive music on your showreel. You do not want to perforate the earlobes of people. You don't want to damage their hearing by having really loud music. Music is not even important. I can tell you already that a lot of times I put mute on showreels. I don't even listen to the music. So the only exception to this rule is when you have a commercial showreel. So if it's, for example, Framestore's showreel or ILM's showreel or Foundry's showreel, or if it's a showreel of an established artist, then it's normal that they have a song or a music that is synchronized to the images. But that's different. That's an established artist or an established company. If you are just starting out, you do not need that. You don't even need music. And make sure your music, if it is there, the lyrics are not offensive. You never know who's going to listen to what you are going to show. You never know who's on the other side. Maybe it's someone that doesn't like swear words. Maybe it's someone that is religious. Maybe it could be someone that does not like to hear these things. Then again, make sure your breakdowns are as fast as possible with as few steps as possible. You do not need to show 25 steps for your showreel. I don't need to see every single mask and every single piece of keying. No, I need to see the first shot, the original shot, and then I can see maybe 2 or 3 steps, and then it's done. Don't waste time with breakdowns with dozens of steps. I've seen this time and time again. People showing me all the AOVs one by one. I don't need to see the AOVs. I already know that the render engines do the AOVs. You don't need to put them in. Just don't do it. Make sure you check your shots on the biggest screen you can find. This is the only way you're going to make sure your shots are good, that they have high quality, and that they are not with bad edges or problems. Check them on the largest display you have. Hey, if you have a projector, put it up on a projector. Watch it, just like people watch it on the cinema. Make it as big as possible so that you can see really what you're doing. And please show it to other people outside your friends. Most of your friends are going to love your showreel. Of course, they're your friends. They're not going to say that it sucks. So don't show it just to your friends. Show it to people outside your friend circle. Don't just show it to your girlfriend or boyfriend. That's not enough, because they're going to love it. They're going to say it's amazing. Don't be dissuaded by that. Make sure you show it to people you've never met. Make sure you show it to artists and people on LinkedIn, people outside your sphere. This is really impressive, like really important. And this is a personal gripe I have. Please do not use different fonts. I hate different fonts. Do not. Just use the same font for the whole thing. There's no point of you using multiple fonts for readability. You want to make sure your showreel is readable, okay? So that's really important. And also, make sure your text that you have on your showreel, that means the breakdown text or the naming of the shot, make sure it's as tiny and small as possible. I don't need to have it this big. I don't need to read it. I don't need glasses, okay? So this is also really important. Just gonna do one thing here. Sorry about that. There you go. I forgot to switch one thing on here. So yeah, make sure you don't make it big, make it small. And please do not waste your time in planet Earth shots. We've seen planet Earth is a circle, okay? It's just a sphere. It's just a circle. There's no skill set to make a circle. So just don't waste your time on making zoom ins to an Earth or zoom outs to an Earth. It's really important. Just skip this. Do something else. And, and then once you're there, like, what do you do? You need to know what you want. You need to know what you're looking for. But I know that a lot of people always ask me, how can I find a job, when they're always asking for experience? I know you all been there, where you look at a job posting and the job posting says you need 5 years of experience, but you just left school. So how do you have 5 years of experience? Well, the way you're going to have experience is to go out and film something and do something. I used to do this all the time with my students. This is me with my students filming stuff. It doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter. Short films, music videos, it doesn't matter what it is. Gain experience by getting together with your friends. This is my students at Campus I-12 in Sweden. I got together with them. We did short films, we did shots, we did all sorts of things. And just shoot stuff. Just go out with a camera, shoot stuff, film stuff. And the more the merrier. Get a bunch of people to help you. Get friends to help you. Because then everyone has the shots. If you don't have experience, build experience. Make experience. Get together with people. Make shit happen. Remember what Shia LaBeouf said on the beginning. Just make it happen. And so now that you have the showreel is perfect. I swear to God, I'm almost done. Okay, I wanted everyone to know, and I really apologize if you were waiting for the showreels. We're gonna get to the showreels in a minute, and I can't believe there are 100 people watching. Thank you so much for being here, and welcome to Hugo's Desk. Okay, so how to impress during the interviews. This is really important. Know where the company is. Okay. You don't even imagine the amount of people that I've met that don't know where the company is, and then they get lost, and then they can't show up, and then they call saying, "Where is the company? I can't find it on the map." Research where the company is. Try to get there ahead of time.
If a wizard is never late, Frodo Baggins.
I'm going to put this again.
A wizard is never late, Frodo Baggins. Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
You see, hear Gandalf's words. They are gold. So, and if you arrive early, it doesn't matter. If you arrive early is better than arriving late. So then if you arrive early, find the local coffee shop, support the local business, and get a cappuccino. Hey, get a frappuccino. Why not? You can even get an Al Pacino. It's the lamest joke I've ever seen, but that's fine. And, and these are really like simple things, but don't put too much perfume or too much cologne. No one wants to smell too much. And also, like, try not to have bad breath. Try to shower. Those things are really important. I've even seen Scanline VFX giving these out on festivals. I'm assuming that's why. Because why would they do that? Mints. I can see what you're doing, Scanline, there. And if you need, go to the shower first. Make sure you are washed and normal. Yeah, I know this sounds stupid, but I've been in a lot of interviews where people were not clean. And it's not a great look for you to get there and you smell of BO. Just make sure you do that. And also research what the company does. Make sure you've done your homework. Know what films they've done, what kind of productions they've done, what kind of TV shows they've done. It's important for you to research what kind of departments they have as well. Do your diligence, like basically research your company. And if you know someone on the company, make sure you name drop, because there's no shame on that. Name drop. I know this person from animation. I know that person from compositing. I know this person from accounting. It doesn't matter. It could be the difference of your foot in or foot out, because you have so much competition that sometimes the showreel alone is not enough to distinguish people. Sometimes you really, really have to have these extra things to help, and anything can help. And make sure you have your showreel offline, okay? You don't even imagine the amount of people that go to interviews and they are expecting to load the showreel from YouTube, okay? You probably could be on a bunker, on a basement, on the company that they do not have Wi-Fi. Please do not interrupt the interview by asking for the Wi-Fi password, okay? Make sure your showreel is physically in the phone or in the iPad or on the laptop. That means the file is already pre-downloaded from home, so that when you're showing the showreel is ready to go and test the showreel, okay? And also, always let them speak first. Don't interrupt them. Let them finish, and once they're finished, then you can speak. I know these are really silly, but they are important. And don't give excuses. You don't even imagine the amount of time I'm watching a showreel from someone and someone is saying, yeah, that shot didn't work because the render crashed. Oh, the server went down and that's why it didn't work. Oh, yeah, this shot doesn't work because I lost my original files. Oh, this is because my friend wasn't very good an animator. Oh, this is because my friend is not very good at modeling. Oh, this is because I didn't have the time. Oh, this is because I was depressed. Oh, this is because I didn't have money to do whatever. These are just excuses. If you have something to excuse in your showreel, then it shouldn't even be there. Because if it needs an excuse, that means it's not finished. So don't do excuses. Don't be George, okay? We already have a George. So, and always detail what you've done. Always explain in detail what you've done. Don't just say everything. I've done everything. No, maybe you haven't done everything. Maybe someone else has done things. And maybe chat and talk about your other skills. Maybe you know how to do other things, Maybe you know how to do music. Maybe you have a degree on something else. Maybe that could be beneficial to the company. Anything could help you to put your foot in. And those extra skills, imagine if you tell them, oh, I actually am very good at Photoshop and I do painting in Photoshop. That could be an excellent skill for them to consider you over someone else, because now you have compositing skills and then you have Photoshop skills. Those are already 2 skills. Make sure you talk about that. And a lot of people also ask me, should I promote myself? I've met a lot of people that are not even in social media. And I know a lot of people hate social media. I understand all of those things, that people don't like Twitter, they don't like Facebook. But hey, we live on a social media world. There's no denying it that it's going to help you a lot to have a Twitter account, a Facebook account, a LinkedIn account, an Instagram account, and an ArtStation account. Make sure you create all of them, and make sure you put your work there. It doesn't even need to be active. It just needs to exist for you to make sure you have a footprint on social media, so that the companies can find you and they can see if you have work, and they can see. And also, besides that, make sure you go to festivals as well. I'm sure your country has a festival, Just from here, for example, we have the VFX Festival in London. We have the View Conference in Italy, Splash in Warsaw. We have M3 in Macedonia. We have FMX in Germany. Annecy, we have it in France. Trojan, we have it in Portugal. SIGGRAPH is in the United States usually. And it goes on, and Prodyut is in Sweden. We can always find a festival somewhere near you. Take the opportunity to go to that festival, because you'll network, we'll talk to people, you'll meet people, you can show your showreel. This is really important. That's and I can look at the chat here. There's a lot of people suggesting amazing stuff here. If you're watching this as a VOD, go and check the chat. I don't know if you know this, but if you watch this stream later, you can still watch the chat. The chat will be recorded, and it's actually playing live there at the same time as the video. This is a really cool feature that YouTube has. Take advantage of it so that you can check some of the really cool advices people are giving on the chat here. So yeah, and of course, it goes without saying, this is being recorded, and this will be on my YouTube channel as a VOD from tomorrow. Don't worry. So then, of course, you have to make decisions about your showreel and about what you're doing. And again, I'm really oversimplifying, because you do have to kind of choose, am I going to work in film and I'm going to work in commercial? Because they are so different. And the showreels that have to exist for these are also very different. A film showreel is going to be much more specialized, and a commercial showreel is going to be much more loose and much more mixed, much more generalist. So keep that in mind. You need to find your own groove, and you have to find your own thing that you like, and then you can pick, and you can make your showreel according to that. You can make the showreel according to the position and to the company that you're applying to. There's no problems of having multiple showreels. You can have a showreel for modeling, a showreel for compositing, a showreel for generalist, a showreel for keying, a showreel for roto. It's just a matter of editing, and editing is simple. It costs nothing. And be sure that the difference really between film and commercial is really the difference of size and scale. On a film company, you're probably going to be much more a factory worker. You're probably going to work as a cog of the machine. And on a commercial, you're probably going to work with a smaller team. These are just some of them, okay? Don't get me wrong, there's a lot more, but just some of them, In commercials, the pros could be that you have more creative work, sometimes, brackets. It's more generalist work if you like that. It's shorter timelines if you prefer that. For example, you'll get the shots earlier to put on your showreel. You have more variation between projects. You have probably more money because it's freelance. And it's smaller teams. Maybe you like that. Of course, the bad things about it is that it's a lot smaller deadlines. You have a lot less time to do things. You might have direct client interaction, which sucks. Like working with clients directly really is horrible sometimes. Sometimes not, but sometimes it is. And then you have a lot of last-minute changes, although I know in film they have that as well, but it is a lot in commercials. In film, on the other hand, the pros is that you have longer deadlines, although they are becoming shorter and shorter as the time progresses. You have longer deadlines, you have no direct client interaction, you never meet the client. The client is only with the VFX Supervisor, so you never get to meet the client, which is a bonus, I think. You do get to work on high-profile projects, because if it's in film, you might be working on a Christopher Nolan film, or you might be working on a Star Wars film, or you might be working on something that someone is doing that is very famous. Or it might even be nominated for the Oscars. Now, that's not going to happen on commercials, although there are a lot of award-winning commercials, of course, so that's also good. You'll get credit on a film. If you're lucky, of course. Maybe you won't get the credit. You have a lot of seniors to learn from. On film, you'll have time to learn from other people. In commercials, not so much. Sometimes you don't have the time to learn from other people because they're just rushing to deliver. You then have a full visual effects pipeline as opposed to commercials that might not have. Some commercial places have, but maybe some of them don't. And you have a larger team, which has its benefits and its downsides as well. The cons, of course, is that it's not creative at all. Most films don't have creative work. Most, of course. You are just a cog of a machine, so if you don't like to be just a cog, if you don't like to work like a factory worker, then you're not going to enjoy that. It's a lot more specialized work. You're going to just do roto, or just do keying, or just do compositing, or just do modeling, or just do tracking. It might end up being a lot more specialized. You have a lot less variations. I mean, how many Marvel films do we have? They're all the same. So variation is not going to be, it's always going to be the same thing. It's going to be explosions and flights and basically ships and all those things. And then, you're going to have probably less money because it's not going to be a freelancer. You're going to be hired on staff, so you're probably going to get less money, although you might have benefits. And you still have a lot less minute changes. So that doesn't change really. Both sides have that problem. So now you have a job. What now? And this is going to wrap up my presentation before we go to the showreel reviews. You got the job. Now you want to make sure you keep the job. You want to make sure you keep the job. So I would really recommend you to get up every 45 minutes. I want to make sure you understand that you need to take care of yourself physically. You need to make sure you stretch your legs. You need to make sure you get blood flowing. Do not sit for too long on your desk. Make sure you need to be careful. Don't be like me. I have a sciatica back problem. This is terrible. It's really painful. You want to make sure you get some blood flowing. Don't sit like this person. Don't sit like this person. Try to sit properly on your desk. Try to be a bit more aware of this so that, and I know that some of you are very young and you're probably thinking that you're immortal, but you're not immortal and you're going to have back problems like most of us. And of course, don't forget that maybe consider that you could probably work for 8 hours, have 8 hours of recreation and 8 hours of rest. So that's kind of like the motto that you should kind of think about in your life. Of course, if possible, if possible. Also, make sure you break a lot on your work and make sure you do eye exercises, and that means focusing on objects, looking up, down, sideways, going down, up, just so that your eyes you don't want to break your eyes. You don't want to have a lot of problems with your eyes, and by doing exercises, you can really solve that. There's a lot of exercises on YouTube you can follow. Don't be like me. I ended up having a lot of problems with my eyesight. I even had optical nerve damage and everything, and then I had a lot of issues, and you don't want to go through that. And I even had to have this for a while. So you don't want to become a zombie. You want to make sure you take care of yourself. Okay, just I want to make sure everyone here understands that. Spend some time with your family. It's really important for you to keep having a connection with your family because they are going to support you and going to help you throughout your life. Make sure you go to the gym. Make sure you get some exercise. I've been always neglecting this, but I'm finally going to the gym again. And I'm always stopping and going, but make sure you do some exercise so that you can kind of stretch and get a bit more healthy as well. And of course, eat good food as well. don't forget to do that. And by the way, as a segue, if you want to eat good food, make sure you follow my like my wife's YouTube channel, which is for vegetarian vegan food. I'm gonna just put it up here, and I'm gonna put up the link. I have it here on my YouTube channel. It's called Green Recipes for All. I'm gonna just like sorry, apologize for that. This segue. Green. Oh, yeah. I think this is now the new. I don't know if you noticed, but YouTube now has like Twitter, you know, it has a hashtag as well, which is really cool. So if you want good food and if you want to have like a more healthy relationship with food, maybe check out my wife's channel. She has a lot of really cool recipes here for vegetarian vegan food, and you don't need to be vegetarian to eat them, that's for sure. And it has a lot and of course, you know, make sure you subscribe and support her channel as well so it grows a bit more. So yeah, make sure you go to the gym, eat some good food. Also get a hobby, you know, make sure you get a hobby, and this hobby has to be outside visual effects. I don't want to hear that your hobby is to play games or your hobby is to like, you know, like I watch films. That's not a hobby. You need to like try to get something out of it. Maybe collect things, maybe read books, maybe like this person has stamps, this person has cans. You can always collect things, you know. Like I like to, for example, I like to collect old tech. You know, I have a lot of old cameras and old computers and old things, and it relaxes me. It relaxes me a lot, which is nice. I like to check them out and to buy them and to, you know, reconstruct them and to play old games and play old retro consoles and collect old retro stuff. I like that. It's kind of my hobby, I guess. And that's it, really. I'm not going to spend much more time on this. You need to also, of course, once you're in the company, understand the pipeline, understand that there's a lot of other people besides you. So, but I'm gonna kind of skip most of these things. I think, you know, you get to the picture. You know, like I don't think you fully understood. Let's get into the showreel reviews phase. I think we've already kind of like, a lot of these things are also like on my channel, like I've mentioned. I have a video that has most of these things. I guess the last thing I would say is to just make sure you keep updating yourself. It's really important for you to do that. Don't be the person that forgets and doesn't know how to do things. You know, it's really important. Make sure you update yourself and make sure you're always on top of the technology and the industry, because otherwise you're going to be left behind. You know, you're not going to really like go anywhere. And I would say that I would finish that, you know, please don't forget that this is not just tech, okay? Don't forget that every visual effects artist, every VFX artist is an artist too. Okay, it's really important for you to understand that. It's not just clicking the buttons. There is an artistic side of things. That is why the word artist is there. And that is why VFX artist includes art. You know, it's very important for you to see the connection. That kind of segue to the beginning where I was talking about learning photography, learning cinema, and learning art in general, going to museums and watching paintings and doing all those things. But anyway, I think that's it for now. Let's just jump into the mainstream. So I hope that was beneficial. I understand that some of you already know all this stuff. But keep in mind that we do have a lot of people on the stream that are young, and a lot of people that want to do a showreel and they don't know how to start, you know. And I've seen a lot of people on the chat here giving some amazing feedback and some amazing advice. So thank you so much. Now, I'm going to do a break now before we jump into the first showreel review. Okay. Like I said, I was inundated by showreels. We had 20 of them. Like I said at the beginning, this is BenQ was very kind to support this new venture that we have now to do a monthly showreel review. We'll see how it goes. We might do more than once a month if we have so many showreels like we have now. So we're gonna do a break for 10 minutes like we usually do. Remember what I've just said. Make sure you stretch your legs. Make sure you relax your eyes. And we'll be back in 10 minutes, and then we'll start with the first showreel review. The first showreel review will be with Anderson Moreira. Anderson Moreira is already here on Discord. I can see him already here, so I'm going to send him the link in a second during the break so that I can connect with him. Okay, so stretch your legs, get some water, and relax your eyes. I'll be back in 10 minutes, okay? I'll see you very soon. Okay, we are back now. Thank you so much for still being here, for sticking around. We still have 75 people watching. Thank you so much for that. As promised, we've already went through the tips. Don't forget that you can always go backwards on the stream. So even if you've missed the beginning of the stream, YouTube now supports that you can actually scrub to the beginning. You can actually watch it from the beginning. Although it's not finished, you can still watch it. You can kind of go backwards like a recording on a VOD box. And also I've left on the chat the link for you to join my giveaway. We're gonna do the giveaway after the first showreel is viewed. So the first showreel of the day, as I said, I was inundated by showreels. We have 20 showreels that people submitted. I'm never going to be able to do 20, so apologies for that. But the first person that ever sent me the showreel was Anderson Moreira. So I'm going to bring him in here. So just give me a second so that I can bring him in here. And then we're going to start talking with him. Just 1 second. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So you are live now. So how are you doing, Anderson? How's it all going?
How you go? I'm very good, man. Thank you for having me.
No problem, no problem. Thank you so much for actually submitting the showreel, and I can't thank you enough for doing that. So before we start, you were the first one to submit when I first promoted this 3 weeks ago. Before we start, as usual, if people don't remember when I used to do the showreels on Twitch, I always would tell people to introduce themselves first and to tell everyone a little bit about themselves. So why don't you start with that? Like, in a short amount of time, why don't you tell people what you do, where you're from? Give us a little bit of a view.
Okay. My name is Anderson, and I'm from São Paulo, Brazil. And I start to work in the industry about 2008 as a artist assistant. And there I know motion graphics and video editing. So I'm not working as a compositor professional, but I'm getting there.
Okay, cool. Well, people are already watching your work. They can already see your showreel going on the background. Now, and so what's the things behind this showreel? Is this a showreel that you're doing to kind of get work right now, or is it just your showreel that you have currently?
It's my first showreel as a compositor. So I did a little works like screen replays, some studies, and that's my reel to get a job.
Okay, cool. And you're actively looking for work right now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. How's it been working? Yeah, sorry.
I'm working as a video editor and motion designer, but I want to work as a compositor as well.
Cool. And have you how's compositing life in Brazil? Are you submitting to Brazilian companies? How is the industry right now there?
Oh, it's very high. The companies are looking for the compositors, but the salary is very low.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that. And
they know, and they want a person in local, on site, so for me to get a job, I need to earn more money, so don't have time to make other jobs.
Okay,
So
I see.
I don't get a job instead.
I see. Okay, cool. Well, I mean, thank you so much for submitting. Let's just go through the shot by shot. At least you've done it less than 2 minutes, which is good. So you followed my advice even before we talked. And you do have a fancy intro, but it's such a short intro. I don't even think that's a problem. I have muted your showreel because I don't want to be claimed on YouTube, so apologies for that. And I know that, unfortunately, I can't share my screen, so you're going to be seeing things a bit delayed on YouTube. But, you know your showreel, so when I'm talking, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about on each shot. So I haven't really sorted that out. I haven't found a way to share my screen on Zoom, but still do the stream and still share my screen on Zoom. So I have a lot of equipment here, and I'm trying my best to kind of get it to work. And as people know, this is the desk, and I have him here, and then I have that's the showreel, and then that's the camera, and this. I just have way too many things going on here. But I'm trying my best to try to get an efficient method, and I'm still working out how am I going to share my screen to the artist watching, but also stream. I'll get there. Don't worry. Don't worry, everyone. Will get there someday. Okay, I'm going to go back to my camera. So, okay, cool. So, let's start with the beginning. So the intro looks great. It has your name. I'm pretty happy with that. This was handmade by you? What's the story behind this intro?
Yes, handmade by me and animated on iPad with Procreate.
Cool. Do you draw as well? Do you do a lot of drawing, a lot of things?
Yeah,
that's cool, man. That's a cool skill set. So tell us a little bit about this shot. What's going on here? Is this? Well, wait a minute. Sorry. That's still kind of the first shot, which is the guy with the eyes, with the power. What's with this shot? Is it for a production? Is it just a personal job? What's going on here?
It's just that shot is just a personal project. I got a friend that sent me some challenges, so I'm trying to. They just send me the assets, and I'm do the rest. you know. It's just to learn Nuke and know how it works.
Okay, cool. Well, the shot looks okay, but there's a couple of things that I think you should consider on this shot. First things first, I think you did okay with the choice of background. I think I could think that maybe this is the same lens and the same kind of background, although it's a little bit off, because if you look at the footage of him, of the kid, of the teenager, it kind of looks to me like it's a quite flat lens. It looks to me like it probably was filmed with maybe a 50 mil or maybe even either a 35 to a 40 or a 50 mil, because it's quite flat. It's not very wide. And I think the image that you chose for the background is a little bit wider. So there's a bit of a disparity between the lens that was used for the background and the lens that was used for the kid. This could be fixed easily by you just basically pushing in a bit more to this background so that it looks a bit flatter as well. I think that would help to sell the shot. Now, in terms of keying in roto, I mean, I must say, I'll be honest and blunt, this is not a very hard shot to do, so, there's no hair sticking out. It's not very challenging. It's a very easy key to do and a very easy roto to do, so I think you did good. Although I still kind of feel that you still have a little bit of a slight white edge around the left shoulder as well of the kid. So there's kind of something on here. And overall, your edge of the hoodie, I think it's a bit too sharp. It might need a little bit of a hedge blur to kind of blend it in a bit better to the background. So that's the other thing as well that I would say. Then, of course, you have all the effects. Now, the trouble with the effects that you put in is that they are producing a lot of light. And one of the things that you need to consider is that if this person really had his eyes so bright, if they would have so much light coming out of them, they would bounce light into the face. Basically you would see a rim light happening on the nose because of the light source, and the entire nose and the entire section of the nostrils would be lit up, and even the cheeks here would be lit up a little bit as well. And I know that's incredibly hard because you would have to paint it, but one way of doing that would be that you could track his face and actually do a projection mapping of his face, do a UV mapping, and then paint those highlights if you wanted to in 3D. That would be one possibility. In fact, there's a plugin for Nuke that does that. I'm forgetting now off the top of my head the name of the plugin, but it's the facial tracking plugin that you can do in Nuke. I'm just having like a brain aneurysm or something. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm sure the chat can help me with that. But there's a plugin that does that. I'm now really feeling really stupid about this. I'm gonna go in and go to YouTube and check it because I feel a little bit idiotic because I've done a stream with them and everything, and I now forgot the name. Sorry about that. I'm just gonna go in here to my playlists. Yeah, Ken Tools. That's right. Thank you so much, Chris.
No.
Yeah. So the best approach would be to use Ken Tools to do that. People are watching, if you go to Ken Tools' YouTube channel, you can kind of see that they do a lot of facial replacements and a lot of facial touch-ups. This could be one way of doing it because then you could track the face and then you have the UV mapping of the face and then you can paint the highlights of those light sources. That's often one way that they do this. This is kind of a cheaper way. Normally, of course, if this is a Marvel movie or if it's a high production from Disney, they would have done a complete CG replacement face for the person to light up. But the face tracker from Ken Tools could be a cheaper alternative to try to do that, And yeah, thank you so much, Chris, for letting me know the name of that. So yeah, can I go back to your showreel? So that would help to make it a bit more realistic, because at the moment, unfortunately, I must say, don't get me wrong, but this is not looking very realistic.
Not at all.
Yeah. I'm glad to know that you're also thinking about that. And then the lightnings from the eyes, that's a cool idea, but I would really recommend you, and this is an artistic note, I would recommend you to make them a bit more scattered and a bit more so that they're not so straight. They almost look like two straight lines. Would be like if they had more bifurcated parts. And also, don't forget that this light would also light up. That means that these rays that are coming out should also light the sides of the face, and they would even lit up the ears a little bit, and they would lit up the interior of the hoodie as well.
Okay.
So you would have to like paint that in as well. Obviously, I'm going very granular, but that's the whole point of this, like if you have time, that would be awesome if you could kind of like try to approach that. But yeah, That's it. For that shot, that's it. Now, for the background, this is just for the background is less important, of course, but you do have something going on that is weird in terms of the depth of field going on the background. I look at your pillars, especially the second pillar. You have one pillar right at the left side, which is even cropped by the image, but then you have the second pillar. The second pillar looks to me like it has these kind of artifact edges from the depth of field. How did you create this depth of field? Was it done with geometry and Nuke? How was it done?
Yeah, no. I created geometry on Cinema 4D.
Okay.
And just render the depth pass to import in Nuke to use as a depth for field.
I see. Yeah, you're having the typical artifact that you get from depth passes because, of course, the depth channel does not know what's behind objects, So if you bring this in, what happens is that you have the depth of field. Depth of field maps are gray and whites, and of course they don't know what's behind the objects. Unless you do deep compositing, that's the only way that you could fix this problem. The second way of fixing this problem when you have these kind of artifacts and edges on the depth of field is either using deep compositing, or the second way would be to separate the layers. So if you would have rendered just those pillars separately, and then you would have the background separately, then you could do the depth of field, and then you would not have these problems with the edges, But to be frank, to be clear, I actually think that it shouldn't be this sharp. If we're going to be so close to this person, I would probably assume that there would be more defocusing happening on the background than it is at the moment. But it's of course a creative choice. But I do feel that you need to zoom in more to the background so it matches more the lens. But yeah, let's move on to the next one, the next shot. So this shot, I would say though that looking at your showreel, I think you've started. You did not start with your best shot. You need to kind of be aware that the first thing that is shown is going to be the first reactions, the first impressions. You need to be careful with that, because if I was a supervisor watching this, I would not probably look at the rest of the showreel, because I would say, this is not that good. And then I would skip the rest of the showreel, although you have better things later on, because a lot of and remember that, when you're watching hundreds of showreels in a couple of days, you're probably going to be skipping them quite quickly, because you're so fed up of watching showreels. Yeah. So let's continue here. So, but yeah, don't get me wrong, and don't be disappointed by my words. I think it's good work. It's just that
not at all.
Yeah, needs more work. You just have to be better. That's it. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to the next one. So the next one is the.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, you're definitely getting there. Don't be dissuaded. You have talent. You are talented, and you should just keep going. Especially when you're telling me that you're moving career from editing to compositing. That means you're just starting, so it's a great achievement. This showreel is very high quality for someone just starting, so congratulations, don't get dissuaded by that. Okay, so tell me a little bit about this police officer. What's going on here? What is this?
Oh, the police officer is another challenge that this friend sent to me.
You have a lot of dust on the shot. I was now cleaning the screen. I thought it was my screen that was dusty.
Once again, the friend sent me the assets, so I made some Cinema 4D renders to comp with the cop.
Yeah, I see. Cool. So this is all assets that were, so it's nothing filmed by you. It was just stuff that you got. Yeah, cool.
No.
Okay, cool. Well, first things first, the first thing I see immediately is when you look at the depth of field that you've done a good job, but notice how you have a lot of defocusing going on the cop's face already, and his arm is already pretty defocused. And then it's like the background is not really getting more defocused. It's almost like we've reached the limit of the defocusing already on his face. And that's a bit weird because, you can see that this was a very low f-stop. I know this because the barrel of the gun is defocused. And then the hands are focused, and then the face of the cop is defocused. And then the background, this means the background would be even more defocused. This is a very extreme. I just wanted to see the original footage. Let me just you don't have a breakdown of this one.
Oh no.
Oh no, you do, yeah.
I received the match from the cop.
Oh, I see. But I'm just trying to see if you didn't apply any defocusing on the gun. It was already there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So so I think the first thing you should really consider is to put more defocusing in a shorter depth of field on the background so that it matches the depth of field that is on the gun, on his face, and maybe even have a little bit of a bokeh going on there. Now, that's point number one. Point number two would be the edge work. There is somehow I'm just gonna go to the breakdown here for a second. Let's see here. Yeah, you can kind of see, although you did a good job with the keying and rotoing, I still kind of see like a bit of a whitest edge on his shoulder, and I think you kind of need to look into that. You kind of see like a very subtle, but it's very subtle. I think the depth of field is really the biggest issue that I have. And also, I think the color correction that you applied to it, you have lost quite a lot of dynamic range. I don't know if you noticed, but when I'm going through your breakdown, you can clearly see the brightness on the face of the police officer and on the nose of the police officer. It has this kind of specularity, reflectness that exists on the face. And then for some reason, it's all gone. The dynamic range is all gone. It's all very flat and it's all very clamped. You need to be careful because you've basically removed information from this image by color correcting it too extremely. I think you went too far with the color correction, So
okay.
Be careful with that because you've lost detail on his face, on the specular, especially on the forehead, on the cheek, the left cheek, and also on the nose as well.
And the nose. Okay.
And you can see that on the breakdown because if I go one step earlier, you see the dynamic range there. And then if I go one step further, I don't see the dynamic range anymore. And you've lost also the dynamic range, the beautiful bokeh and dynamic range you had on the badge, the police badge as well. You've lost that range as well. And you lost a bit of dynamic range on the fingers and on the gun. So be careful with that. Cool. So next shot is a dude with a pink phone. So tell me a little bit about this shot.
This is a commercial from a Brazilian bank.
Yeah.
So I did that's a commercial work. I did this screen replace for this commercial bank.
Cool. And so basically the work was just replacement of the screen, or was it something else?
Yeah, no. The color correct was not done for me.
Okay, you just did the screen.
Yeah.
And you didn't comp him on this background either.
No.
Okay.
Just the screen.
Yeah, it might be worth you writing that on the bottom of the showreel so that people know what you've done.
Okay.
So on small text, on a readable font, just write on the bottom screen replacement only or screen replacement so that people don't think that you've comped the whole thing, so that you are absolutely clear of what you've done, So yeah, well, I don't have really much to say. It looks fine, although it is a bit peculiar that you have reflections being on the bottom of the phone there, but then those reflections are not on top of the logo. So that's missing. Although I do understand that sometimes clients don't want that. That happens a lot. Clients are always a bit annoying. But yeah, that's the only thing that I can see that is missing.
The first version of the shot, it has the reflection on the phone, but the client has to rip off.
Of course they do. They always do that.
Yeah.
Of course. Okay, so let's move on to the next shot, which is the wheel. So what did you do on
wheel.
here?
This is a crypto game.
Yeah.
Crypto game. I don't know if this is the name. Okay. I don't remember the name of the game, but I create all the scene, animate everything, and come with some smoke when
Cool.
the wheel spin.
So you did the entire compositing and also so the whole thing is done by you then, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Lightning, animation, everything.
Yeah, it's a very nice piece of motion graphic. Don't really have much to say. I think it looks great, looks cool.
The lightning was done in the Procreate.
Cool.
Frame by frame.
Cool. Yeah, it looks great. I mean, this is a very highly stylized shot. So I don't really have much to say. The only thing I would tell you, the only thing that is happening that is a little bit weird, is that when the wheel is spinning, the light is spinning with the wheel. And this is because you've used the photo of a wheel that had light from one side. So one way of fixing this would be you would have to go to the original wheel, try to clean up and paint off that light, that lighting, that brighter section, and then apply the brightness just on one side so that when the wheel spins, the light is still always on one place.
Yeah.
So that is the main thing that I've noticed right away. And also the wheel is not completely round as well. So the photo has distortion, and because the photo has distortion, when it spins, you kind of feel that one side is bigger than the other and not completely straight. And that is also because of the distortion of the photo. So you would have to try to undistort that photo that you've used and then apply the lighting. Perhaps the cheapest and simplest way, I know this is a project that is done already, but if you ever do this again, of course, if you ever do it again, then you could do it that way. I think the simplest way of doing this would be to use a CG wheel. I think that would be the best way, because then you could apply the light as you want. You could do whatever you want,
Oh, the client the client asked for a script and animation in one day.
Oh, one day, okay, of course.
Me and one friend made this animation in 6 hours.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Okay.
I'm so sorry to hear that. In that case, I think you did a fantastic job. Okay, cool. So next up, we have, let's see here, what is up? If this is one day of work, man, congratulations.
Less than one day.
So then we have the rainforest. We have the river. So what's happening here? What type of project? What is this?
On this project, I need to put some, I don't know the name, barrier. I don't know. The water falling down goes on. I just need to put there.
So they've asked you to do that, to do the basically the little bump on the water, and the foam and everything. Yeah. I think you did a good job, but I think you could have done a better job there's two things in my view. One is the edges. So the edge on the left and the edge on the right of the foam is a bit semi-transparent. I think you should have rotoscoped a little bit better the edges of the river so that it would have cut the foam and cut your extrusion a little bit better, because it kind of like blends into the edges of the river in a bit of a fake way. So it's like semi-transparent going on here on the two edges. That's the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say is that for the massive scale you have on this river, because this is such a big image, I think your water is going too fast.
It's, I noticed that later.
The waviness that you have is going so fast that it looks like it's very small. So you have a mismatch in scaling. You would just have to slow down this kind of waves that are going out of the water, So yeah.
I'm done this on Fusion, you know.
You did in Fusion? Okay, cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot to ask you in the beginning what kind of softwares you used. I guess did you use a mismatch of both of a lot of them, or is it all Fusion from the beginning?
Yeah. No. Nuke, After Effects, and Fusion.
Okay, cool, excellent. It doesn't matter where you do it, you know. For me, like people can
Primarily I use Nuke.
Yeah, people should be agnostic and should use whatever needs to be done, but these could be fixed anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then next up after that would be, so then you have like a trash bin and a corner with some graffiti. So tell us a little bit about this shot.
This is another challenge. The friend sent me the original footage with the trash can.
And you removed it.
Yeah, and I remove it.
Cool.
It's just as exercise, you know.
Yeah, it's very well done. I think the only thing I would say is that if you look at the original trash bin when it's there, there's a level of sharpness going on the floor and on the blue squares that are below the trash bin. They are quite sharp, and your cleanup looks a bit blurry. It looks like you've blurred too much when you did the cleanup. This is a common problem when you do. This was a projection in Nuke, right?
Yeah.
So when you do a projection in Nuke, was it like a top perspective, like a UV projection?
Okay.
Was it what you did? Was it the UV projection that you did for this?
Oh, no. Just camera projection.
Camera projection, okay. So
Yeah.
This is a common problem that happens sometimes. When you do a camera projection inside of Nuke, a lot of people tend to export. When you export when the scanline render is rendering, the scanline render is outputting the same resolution as your project. So, for example, if your shot is HD, that means the scanline is also outputting HD. This is a problem because you're stretching and you're painting, and then you're basically outputting just HD out of the scan line. And then when you comp it on top, because you filtered it, you've cleaned it up, it becomes a bit less sharp, becomes a bit more filtered and cubically filtered by blur. So the trick here is to try to make as less effect filtering as possible into the painting that you're making. That's number one. And then the number two is on the scanline render, you should bypass the settings and output the scanline on maybe 2.5K or 4K. Then your projection is coming out on a higher resolution. Obviously, you'll hit a ceiling, you'll hit like a limit. Probably 2K is more than enough for 2.5K. And then you can like comp that by reformatting it to HD. You'll probably end up with a sharper image. If that doesn't work, maybe using a sharper tool, like trying to use sharpening, that could help as well. But there's definitely a mismatch of defocusing and sharpness going on your cleanup patch. Your patch is too blurred. It's well done, but it just has that filtering problem, you know. And it does slide a little bit on the end. Just at the end of the shot, it slides off a little bit, especially the blue squares are sliding a little bit. That means when the camera is moving at the end, it's like goes a little bit off. That could be your tracking that maybe is not really spot on. You need to kind of like check that as well. Yeah. These are very minute details. I think you did good. You did a good job. Most people probably wouldn't even notice this because they're watching it on YouTube or on Vimeo. But consider that if this was a real project, if this was a film, and people would be watching it on the cinema with like a 7 to 10 to 12 meter size screen, they would notice the defocus a lot more. That's why I was telling everyone to watch it on the biggest screen you can find so that you can notice these kind of things, you know. So, but it's well done. Okay. Next up, we have an old man with some glasses holding a phone, watching TV. What's going on here?
Oh, this is a fusion course that I did.
Yeah.
So I just replaced the screen, the TV screen, and cell phone screen.
Cool. It's very well done. The only thing I can see is that you have a slight black edge going on the finger, the bottom finger that is holding the phone. you can kind of see like a slight black edge on the phone. I think it's just like it's very subtle. So that would be the only thing. And then one thing I would consider is that maybe that was an option, but it does feel to me like the screen is a bit too dull. It looks to me like people usually have the brightness a little bit higher on their screens. So I would consider that. But, you know, some people use the brightness really low. It depends on really people, I guess. But I would really experiment having it a little bit brighter, you know. And also the TV as well on the back. The TV on the back looks a bit too dull for a normal TV. Usually a broadcast usually is slightly brighter than that. So that would be the only two comments I would say. I think other than that, I think you did a good job. And that's
I was afraid that they look very fake if I hire.
It has to be subtle. It has to be subtle. I think it just needs a little bit. Even going through your breakdown, I think when you have the screen a bit brighter, it looks more realistic. Obviously, it doesn't need to be as bright as the original, but it can be just ever so slightly brighter. And also, I think definitely the TV screen needs to be brighter. But yeah, that's it really. Like
I'm always afraid that the screen was more brighter.
Yeah.
Shows more fake, you know.
Of course. But this is easy to check. Like I said, it really will depend on your client, because some people have the screens lower light, some people have brighter light. Really will depend on the settings the person has on their home, the person has on the phone, because you can definitely have a phone with a screen that is very dim or a screen that is very bright. Some people even have the screen so bright that it would even be overexposed. So I think you did well. I was just commenting it from a creative point of view, I think. And I think that is not really, it's a comment that would, So that's it for your showreel. I think that I must admit, I think your showreel is okay. It's good, but you are missing quite a lot of things here if you want to become a compositor. If you want to be hired as a compositor in the industry, especially if you want to work in film. Is that what you want? You would like to work in film?
Yeah.
If you want to work in film, you're missing some keying, some hardcore keying, where you have some hair keying, some people with blonde hair in front of a screen. You know, you're missing quite a lot of keying, hard keying, and you're missing a lot of rotoscoping as well, like to show your skill sets as a rotoscoper. You're missing those two, and these would easily be put in as two different shots. Now, the other thing as well, if you want to be a compositor, you do not need the motion graphic shots. Those would not be necessary for a showreel. That means the wheel doesn't need to be here. Also, well, actually, it's only the wheel. I think it's only the wheel that is really pure motion graphic. That would be the only shot that I would remove, because if you're just applying to compositing, there's no point of having that shot there. But yeah, you really consider this. Consider trying to get a really hard keying shot to comp, and then trying to get some rotoscoping so that people can see the alpha channels and the actual mattes. If you don't have that on your showreel, I'm afraid to tell you, you will never get a job as a compositor anywhere for film. So you need to consider having that on your showreel, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. So, cool, man. That's it. I hope this was helpful, and
very helpful.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see your new showreel. Feel free to share it with me and
definitely I'll send to you.
Yeah, send it to me, and I'll be doing this reviews every month, so you can come back if you want to once you have a new showreel. That would be cool. There's some nice comments on the chat as well if you want to check them out. Like I said, you can always watch the chat again later on.
Okay.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining, man. I'll see you.
Thank you, Hugo.
I'll see you later. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, cool. That was really nice. Thank you so much for joining, Anderson. That was a great showreel, and I think you have a good beginning here. I hope everyone on the chat can congratulate Anderson by his good work, because I think he did a good job, but he does need more stuff there as well. Okay, cool. So we've been going on for, how long have we been going on? This is, we've been going on for almost 2 hours now. Thank you so much for all of you still being here. I think I might do the first giveaway now before we do a break, and then we bring in the second showreel review. Okay, so the second showreel review will be, let's see who it is. It's Carlo. So Carlo will be next. So this will be, let's see here, Carlo Santoriello. I think that's how I pronounce his name. I hope it is how I pronounce his name. I'm gonna contact him during the break, but before that, we're gonna do the giveaway. So I've put the giveaway there. This will be. Thanks so much for all the kind words for all of you on the chat to Anderson's showreel. You always need to motivate people to do things. So thank you so much for motivating him to continue to do better and to do more. Okay, so let's do the giveaway, the first giveaway. I'm going to be giving away 3 Nuke courses, don't forget. This will be the Nuke course that I have for sale right now. This is a Nuke course that I think most people know. It's a complete Nuke course. It has 150 classes. It's 75 hours long. It includes all the footage for the showreels. It includes everything. It only costs £250. But I'm going to give it for free to 3 people on the audience. I'm going to start by we have 52 people signed up for the giveaway. I'm gonna do one lucky winner now and see who it is. Remember that you have to be here to win. So I'm gonna draw the winner. I'm just gonna draw one winner and see who wins. Let's see here. I'm gonna just draw it, and I'll say the name in a second. Okay, so I have, let's see here, from the United Kingdom. Look at that. So the first winner, I never had a winner from the United Kingdom, is from the UK, and it is David Matthew. So is David Matthew here? Are you here, David Matthew? Let's see if he's here. Is he here? The first winner is David Matthew. I hope you're here, and I hope you don't have my course yet. Basically from the United Kingdom. I've never had a winner of these giveaways from the UK, I think. Are you here? I'm going to give you a little bit of time to see if you show up. And in the meantime, we're going to do a break. And then after the break, we're going to do Carlo's showreel review. I hope you're enjoying this. We still have 100 people watching. Thank you so much for being here. This is amazing. BenQ will be very happy. As always, don't forget that BenQ is sponsoring this stream. Go and support BenQ. Go to their Facebook page. Go to the Instagram. And make sure you thank BenQ for them to support these streams. That's why I'm making them. Because it's not cheap to do these streams, to take some time off of my schedule to do these things. And they are very kind to support me on this way. Oh, David is here. He's so happy. Look at that. David is very happy. I'm glad you're happy, David. Congratulations, David, for winning the first giveaway. I still have 2 more to give. So, David, give me a couple of days. I will probably email you tomorrow or the next day with the contacts for you to join the course, okay? So, congratulations, David. Much appreciated for you to being here and to supporting my channel like this. Okay, we're going to do a break. After the break, we're going to have Carlo's showreel. So let's do again. Don't forget, 10 minutes break, stretch your legs, drink some water, exercise your eyes, do whatever you need to do, go outside, and that's it. I'll be back in 10 minutes, okay? I'll see you very soon. Okay, we are back. Thank you so much for all of you to still be here. We have more than 100 people watching. Thank you so much. We already had 700 people watching this thing. I can't thank you enough. It's really, really very kind of you to join me today. Thank you so much. It's fantastic, and BenQ would be very happy as well. Hopefully we can do this every month and continue for very, very many years to go. One thing that someone asked me, and I forgot to answer. People were asking if we're still going to have the other streams. You know, remember I always used to do like every month a Nuke composting stream. And the answer, yes. Like from next month on, I will be doing 2 streams. We'll have once a month the showreel reviews, and then once a month as well, the Nuke composting. So next week, we're going to be doing the Nuke composting. So next Friday, during Black Friday, actually, we're going to be doing the composting stream, which will be sponsored by ActionVFX, because they're also having their Black Friday event. And I will also run Black Friday. I'm going to have my Nuke course for sale on Black Friday as well. So next week, we're going to be doing Nuke composting. And from moving forward, there will always be 2. You'll always have... the 2 last weeks of the month will always have 2 streams. You'll have one at the 3rd week of the month, we'll have the showreels, and then the last week of the month we'll always have the composting. Obviously, sometimes we might have different days and different weeks, but if you just follow me on social media, we'll always know when I start and when I'm doing the streams. So just follow me and you'll see. So yeah, to answer that question, if I'm gonna do streams still like the old streams, I will still do them. Next week, it will be with ActionVFX, and it will be Nuke composting, and it will be to celebrate the Black Friday event as well. So, but yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna bring in. Well, just one second. I need to just fix one thing here that somehow this kind of broke. Okay. So next up, we have. Let's see here. We have Carlo. He's a 3D generalist, and I'm gonna bring him in here into the stream, and so we can say hello to him. Just one second. Where is it? Yeah, there you go. Okay, cool. Carlo, you are live on Hugo's desk. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hola, Hugo.
No problem. So as always, why don't you tell us in the chat a bit? Like, we have 100 people watching now, and of course we'll have thousands of people watching later. Tell everyone what you are, what you do, what's your name, everything, a little bit of a bio. Go out. Yeah.
So, my name's Carlo Santoriello. You pronounced it perfectly earlier. So, I'm 3D generalist, I suppose. I've had a little one-man animation company for 6 years doing commercial animation, just not commercial TV, B2B, like for businesses. So recently I've sort of wanted to move out of that and do more creative work. So that's what this is about, really. So I've done a new show reel that's less sort of commercial work that I've done in the past, and more hopefully aimed towards getting work as a 3D generalist or a modeler, something along those lines, really. But it's it's a bit of a new venture for me. So yeah.
Oh, when you mean a new venture, why do you say that? Like, by the way, people are watching your work already. It's on the background. Right. So is it because you haven't done 3D in a while, or why is that?
No, so not the 3D, but this kind of 3D. So what I've done before is just sort of animations for websites or things for company sort of presentations. And then I did one little sort of commercial for an American company at the beginning of the year, and I really liked that, sort of working through an agency, working with other people as part, and I enjoyed that. So that's what I'd sort of want to do a bit more of. So
okay, so cool, man.
So
sounds good. Maybe I'm sorry, I was like just clicking in buttons here, and maybe may have missed it. Where are you calling from?
So I'm in Spain at the moment. So I'm a digital nomad. That's the other thing. I'm from the UK, but at the moment I've been here for a little while near Valencia. So
cool.
Yeah. So
cool. So you live in Spain. That's good. Yeah,
yes,
better weather than the UK then.
Much better. Yeah. I don't think I could acclimatize back to the UK now.
It hasn't been that bad though. Like, I can tell you that. Like, it's a bit weird. Like, the weather is really strange here. Like, we are having quite warm days for late November, like we're having like 15, 16, 18 degrees on a day, which is a bit weird for this time of the year.
That is for there, yeah. Normally it's really cold, yeah.
Yeah, when I first came here, by now we would have even maybe had snow, and now we don't have that anymore, but Okay, Carlo, so thank you so much for joining and sharing your show reel. You have a lot of really good work here, so let's just get on with it. As I told you on the beginning before we were live, like, you are going to be watching a very delayed stream over there on YouTube. Unfortunately, I haven't sorted out a way of sharing my screen while I'm actually sharing the screen for everyone, so I need to sort that out, so apologies. But you know the shots, so you probably can talk about them. So first things first, the first shot that shows up here, which is this kind of room with the guitar and with the laptop, and tell us a little bit about what's the genesis of this shot.
So that is that's what you at the start told us not to do. It's an intro. So but I showed it to some pictures. That's what I've been doing with this, showing it to people, and someone suggested that I needed to sort of say who I was at the start and what the show reel was, So and I thought I could do that, and then I thought, well, I might as well put it in a scene that I've made with assets that I've made, because I want to show, that I'm a 3D modeler. So I thought I might as well do it and show that aspect of it while showing the information. So it's not just a title screen; it's kind of a
No, I think that's fine. I mean, when I said that comment is because I've seen some really, really long intros and some really obtuse intros on showreels in my lifetime. And sometimes they are way too long and not good enough. And this is different. This is a very accomplished intro. It's like actually a shot that you've created for the intro. So I think this is actually a quite nice thing. But tell us a little bit about how this was achieved. So you're a generalist, as you said. So what type of software is going on here? What are you using?
So this is all this shot. It's all Blender, and then a little bit of comp in After Effects, just for a little bit of lens flare, which I did do in Blender, but then comped it in afterwards. And then After Effects for the motion graphics on the screen, but they were done in 3D, not afterwards. So it's kind of a texture on the actual glass itself.
Okay, cool. And you have like
So,
a
yeah.
time-lapse effect going on, which goes from the sun coming down, and then it kind of lights up the building. Sorry, the area, which is the lamp, I guess, from the top
Yes.
of the... Yeah.
So it's got a sunset coming down, and the background, the clouds, that's all 3D volumetric clouds, and then a sunset goes down, and then the light comes on, and
Cool. It looks terrific. I think you did a really good job. Like you said, you are mostly... I mean, it's just generalist showreel, but what is your dream job? Like, what do you want to do? What do you see yourself wanting to work on? What type of position? What type of projects? What's your kind of like aspiration?
I think I'd say it's crazy, but I think I'd like anything really. But I'd like to do something within film or commercial, just to have that experience of doing that. And it's always something that I've wanted to do. But this career I didn't start doing this till I was 40, so it's quite a late on sort of career. Previous to that, I was a design engineer, so totally different. But so something within that industry. But I don't mind what I do in that. And I suppose because I don't know that, I know bits and bobs, but not the ins and outs of it. I've sort of open really to whatever I can get. So I haven't thought much further ahead than that really at this stage.
I see. Okay, well, I think the shot is great. I like your little short breakdown. I think it's more than enough. I think for me personally, I feel the shot would need, like, I know this is just a generalist showreel, so there's no point of me like giving you pointers of compositing, but I think that's really what this shot really needs. This shot needs like a bit more compositing to kind of make it a bit more realistic. And when I'm saying this would be like the depth of field and the type of light and the type of glowing that is coming from that sunset. It would have been nice if it was a bit more photographically made. But I do understand that this is a showreel, a commercial, like a generalist showreel, so it's not like you're promoting yourself as a composer. So I think it's very well achieved, very well rendered. I like your intro a lot, so you know I feel like you did a great job. So congratulations. And okay, cool. So then second shot, we have these kind of like containers that are in I guess it's like a street somewhere, and then you kind of see the smoke coming through. So tell us a little bit about this shot.
Oh, so yeah, so that's that again. That's just a personal project. I sort of had an idea to make these sort of security robot things that like a bollard that turn into a robot, and then I just did just did a little animation. And I was going to just animate the movement, and then it went from there to sort of try to do it as sort of like a mobile handheld idea. And then I put some smoke in because I thought I wanted it to be a riot scene. And it's just on a back plate. Just that's all that is. It's just on a back plate. Everything was done in camera, in the 3D camera really.
So is this a photo then, or is it like a piece of 3D as well in the background?
So the background, the wall, the floor and that back wall there is 3D. The background is not. The background is photographic. Yeah,
like the buildings.
Wharf.
Yeah, Canary Wharf.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, this is looking very realistic. There's, for me, like, you know, top of my head, like when I see this, there's two things that kind of like that I noticed that was a bit strange. So first one is that there's like this moment, if you go frame by frame, where we have a very strange artifacting going on with the depth of field, where you have this kind of very, very, very glowy, dreamy frame that happens just for a few frames and then it goes back to normal. This is kind of like, I have it on screen right now, but I know the YouTube is very delayed. Yeah. But there's like this just single frame that this happens, and it's very it kind of like distracts you quite a lot, and I'm not really sure exactly what's going on here, but that's the thing that kind of like I noticed that it looks like it's a glitch, or maybe you're trying to do a rack focus, but it's not really fully.
That's what I was.
Yeah, but it's not fully functioning because a rack focus would have to last longer and it would have to like stay for a bit longer. So that's one thing that I can see as a little problem. The other thing as well is the smoke. I really like your idea of having the riot and the smoke coming in, but I think the actual smoke quality and the resolution of the smoke is not on par with the rest of the shot. And that's really, it's a shame because I love your lighting. It looks very realistic. These containers slash robots look great. The floor looks very realistic. Then the photo on the back merges quite well with all this entire thing. But then the smoke doesn't. The smoke kind of works after a while. So, you know, once it hits the robot and the robot opens up, that smoke looks great. But it's when it comes in the first time, it looks very blobby, and it looks to me like you have very low resolution on your actual volume, you know. So I would say that's a problem, and I think it kind of like is bringing down the shot a bit in that sense.
Yeah, I would agree with
is
that.
Is that also like, is this all entire thing Blender as well?
Yeah, that's all Blender and After Effects. Yeah, yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah, someone is commenting that Cycles takes ages to render smoke. Well, it's not just Cycles. Everything takes forever to do.
It does.
Smoke.
Any volume, isn't it? Yeah.
So I think one thing I would suggest to you, like if it could help, a lot of times this is a trick that a lot of people do in film and commercials as well. We used to do this a lot, is that when the volume is not really working, you know, either because you ran out of time or you don't have budget to go through a very, very high quality render, it kind of helps when you merge the volume with some stock footage. So if you can find some stock of smoke that could be blended and merged into this, and then kind of you dissolve into yours, because after a while yours looks great. But maybe on the beginning, if you could have some elements of real smoke mixed with your smoke, I think it could help to hide it a bit more.
Yeah.
And that's a trick we use a lot on film. People will be surprised by the amount of mix and match that we have between real sparks and CG sparks and real smoke and CG smoke. Like the whole thing is kind of a mismatch of things that you put in to see if you can make it more realistic, you know. So maybe think about that. But yeah,
that's a good idea.
Shot looks great, and I really like your camera animation. This looks really realistic, like the shake and the riotty and like the feeling of the whole camera animation is really nice.
Yeah, but I probably just overdid it on the rack focus. That was what my idea was, to try and make it look like it's sort of gone out of focus a little. Yeah.
I understand what you're trying to do, but also like if this was a real camera. This would be, first of all, difficult to do this fast. Like this would be literally, the person would have to be on the ring of the lens and would have to do like really, really quick to try to mimic this. And this would be difficult because usually the rack focus happens when something of action happens, and they usually zoom into that action. Then they need to try to focus as fast as they can to try to get it. Yeah. So it's almost like there's like a zoom in, then there's a reaction, then there's the focusing, and that's where the rack comes in. Your rack is coming in too fast, and also there's no real reason for it to be happening yet. It's almost like the rack should be happening a bit later, because at this stage the cameraman would not be afraid yet of it, because it wouldn't really know what's going on. It's almost like your rack defocus should be happening when, you know, the smoke is a bit more in, and then you have the robot opening up, and then the cameraman is getting afraid of him, and then he would probably mess up the focusing because he's afraid of what he's watching, you know. Yeah, exactly. Cool, man. So okay, next shot we have here is this table with, I don't know the name of this object. This is like this pentagonal thing, like it has a lot of shapes and a lot of sides that you then rotate around, and then there's like a lot of butterflies coming out of it. So tell us a little bit about this shot.
So again, that was that's part of a longer, just sort of personal project I did, just to mess around with some particle systems and things dissolving into particles, really. And it just, a lot of my stuff evolves from me trying something, and then I think, oh, it'd look good if I do this. And so that's all, again, all Blender. The back plate is a image, the blurred out sort of cityscape, and then it's just a simple particle effect in Blender, and a bit of composited in After Effects, again, just to mix the bits together where it goes from one to another, sort of thing.
Yeah, it looks really nice colors and nice lighting, and it looks like very pretty. So you did a great job there, and I like the experimentation going on here with the particles flying through, and then the background with the city landscape. I mean, I would just say maybe the bouquet of the city landscape is looking a little bit too maybe too bright and too overpowering for the shot. I understand that it should be like that, but it's a shame that I don't see it better. You know, like I like this object and I like the particles going through, and you're kind of hiding it a little bit with the amount of bokeh that you have in the background. But this is a lovely object, and then the particle system looks really nice. The way that it kind of like converts to particles into butterflies that which already were part of the design anyway. Did you also design this thing, the drawing and the design and the whole thing?
I designed it, but the actual the pattern on the is a I found an old Japanese print, and I used that to make that texture. So it's
cool.
Yeah, so the actual print of it's not mine.
I love the way that you've dissolved from that print into the butterflies. It's really nice. The way that you've left some of the old drawings and the butterflies come from the black area, and then they kind of all merge together. That's really well done. It's really nice. But yeah, so congratulations. This is a nice shot. I would say, you know, again, like I said, you're a generalist, so there's no thing. But if this was a real production in a production house, of course you would have had a compositor touching it up and working on it. This kind of shot, as the other shots as well, would really benefit. You know, I'm very agnostic on softwares, but I think this type of project would probably be easier to create more realistic bokehs and motion blurs and depth of fields by using Nuke instead of After Effects. I feel like Nuke would probably give you better tools to control these things. But there's nothing wrong with doing it in After Effects. As I said, you're a generalist. You don't need to like do it in Nuke. But remember, though, if you become a generalist on a film company or even on a commercial company, most likely you'll be having to pre-comp in Nuke, not in After Effects. So very rare companies still use After Effects for those kind of things. So you might want to consider maybe brushing up a bit Nuke and maybe learning it a bit, and it will always help you to get a job, you know, because like as we are progressing through the industry, more and more and more CG artists and generalists are now comping their own shots. That's more and more happening, where you're having compositors focusing on the bigger shots and focusing on shots that have footage, green screen and roto, and then the shots that are full CG are being handled a lot of times by the CG artists themselves, you know. So yeah.
It makes sense, because when you're doing when you're setting it up, you can think, I can do that in comp afterwards if you're doing it yourself, can't you?
Exactly. Exactly. That's a huge shift that happened about 10 years ago. About 10 years ago, it was exactly the opposite. It was like, you know, the CG artists would finish something and then they would hand it over to comp, and then comp would work. That has changed dramatically now. It's not like that at all. They're all working together, and compositors kind of focus more their attention onto shots that have more footage involved and have more plates to be merged with the CG. That's where they are focusing their attention in. But yeah, cool, man. But it's a lovely shot. People are saying that as well on the chat. It looks really pretty. Really lovely colors and really lovely imagery altogether. Okay, then we have your robot flying, your drone robot flying into the air. Tell us a little bit about that shot.
So again, that was a lot of this stuff I've took out my commercial work and put in personal projects that I've had for a while, and that was a robot design that I did. I actually did it for a different shot, to do an exploded view shot for to show something to a client, but then I built on it more, and it was just my attempt of putting it into a realistic environment, and I quite liked the lighting, and I still quite like the shots, so I put it in there. It's got a little bit of comping in After Effects, but it's mostly just the lighting and everything's mostly done in Blender.
In Blender, yeah. I think the only thing that makes this this shot looks lovely, and I like your design. If you're aiming for a generalist showreel, it would be probably beneficial for you to have some kind of breakdown or some kind of turntable to this object. You know, I think people would like to see that. Not that they don't believe, like, it's just because it's usually the case they want to see the other angles and the other sides of the object and everything. But you did a great job with lighting. I think it looks good. It's slightly overexposed, but, you know, I think you're just on the cusp of that. I really miss motion blur though. Like this would be awesome if you could turn on motion blur on CG. I know it's going to take a long time to render, but it would really help the shot to have motion blur. If you can't afford motion blur in CG, I would advise you to output a vector pass and then maybe use the vector blur in Nuke. That usually does a good effect. Either Nuke or Fusion has tools for that. I believe After Effects has that as well. I'm not really, I mean, I haven't used After Effects in a long time. I started in After Effects in my career, but I've moved away from it a long time ago, so I'm not entirely sure. But I'm assuming there might be other ways of doing motion blur instead of After Effects using vectors as well. I'm assuming there are. But that would really help to make the shot even cooler, you know. But yeah, consider a turntable maybe, and maybe adding some motion blur. I would really think it would work, you know.
Yeah.
Cool, man. And then it's a lovely shot. Then after that, you have this barn with the particles in a garden. Tell us a little bit about that shot.
Yeah. So that one is that's for a chilled kids TV show that I'm working on with a kids TV illustrator, and this is the intro shot. Mostly it's a stop motion animation, but it starts with like a live action in a shed, and the intro is this going down into this bottom with this island, which is where these sort of creatures live. So this was just a shot. We were going to do it in camera, real shot with but it, you know, doing a pass down the garden and then it being all like live action from the shed into the garden. But that actually turned out more difficult to do than doing it this way. So
we
thought we'd try it in CG just to see if it'd work, and then it kind of
No, I think it looks really good and it works really well. For me, it's the same note I had on the beginning on the shot before. Like it's missing motion blur mostly. Motion blur is going to really bring this shot up to another level, you know. And there's also there's some kind of weird thing going on here where you have this kind of cloud formation that is on just behind the window, and then we go through those clouds and then it becomes clean. That is a bit weird. Like, what's going on there? Where is this smoke? Is it the glass or is it inside the building? What's going on here?
Yeah, so that's actually there's like smudges on the glass because it's an old so as it's going through, and then that's just where it's closing up on the smudges. But what I actually did was they're on the glass on the CG, but I put them in afterwards as the camera goes through because I thought it looked odd with them not being there. But it probably, but I've always thought it looks. I couldn't work out what it is that makes it weird when it goes through. But probably they would blur out more than that, would they? And so they'd almost disappear before you got to them.
Well, I think it has to do with the fact that I think the problem is actually not that they are there. I think it's not that they don't really look like this. When you have a sun hitting a piece of glass. If you have smudges on the glass, they actually pick up quite a lot of specular highlights, and they actually you get much more pristine areas of the glass than some smudges. I feel like the texture of your smudges is the wrong thing. Like, you need to probably get something else that maybe photograph a real piece of glass with smudges, or maybe try to find a piece of stock. I think I've seen stock like this on ActionVFX, actually. I feel that's the issue, because at the moment when I look at it, the first reaction was that I thought you were going through a bit of smoke, or it didn't look like glass smudges. It looks more like smoke, you know. So, but I definitely think you should have something there. I just think you need to work out this layer that you're using. Probably needs to be a different texture, a different kind of thing. And then everything else looks lovely. I think the motion blur would really help a lot because it becomes a bit jittery. Everything else is lovely. I love your transition. They light up inside the flowers and the garden, and then it lights up, and then you see inside this thing. It looks lovely. I really like it. People really like it on the chat as well. I can see that. So yeah, well done, man. And then when we're inside on the little cloud with the little smile. This is all CG as well in Blender as well, isn't it? Yeah.
So the thing inside is all Blender. The background with the like the hand drawn clouds, just After Effects, and the leaves going away. They're CG leaves, but they're put in as a layer afterwards because we were sort of the client wanted a particular look there when it came through the hedge.
Cool,
So
man.
yeah.
Cool. It looks lovely. Looks really pretty. I love your little smiley clouds and the smiley mountain. Your work is extremely creative. You're very talented. So I congratulations, man. I think this is great work. Cool. And then after that we have this robot. Robot looking at a screen. Tell us a little bit about that shot.
So that robot, I'm messing around with that for a little while, but I used it it was just for a still for a developer that I worked with, his website. So it was like a sort of some of it, just the top of it was for that. So I just expanded it, and then I rigged it. I had to rig it so I could put it in the pose I wanted, and I thought I'd try and animate it, and it sort of it went from there really. So it's all Blender. The screens, like the holographic overlays it's just After Effects, and there's some mist and stuff that I did as a separate layer, and then tried to comp it in After Effects just to sort of.
Yeah, it looks great. I think it looks great. Again, I would say the same thing, like especially on the background, really missing motion blur. It gets really quite jarring because the rotation is so fast that the background stuff, especially passing behind her, with these kind of like pillars and then the yellow sign, they would be really blurred, right. and it would really help to sell the shot, because this is a shot that you're trying to make it a bit more realistic. I think you really should work into that. And again, I would love to see the robot. I think it would be nice as a generalist showreel to have like a turntable of this robot. I would love to see the rest of the body and to see what's going on here, because it is a lovely design. Did you do the whole thing? Like, is it designed by you as well?
Yeah. So it's done by me. It's actually got all
it's fantastic.
It's got an interior that I went a bit too far on, so it made it a bit difficult to rig.
Okay, you're telling me that. Where is it? I want to see it. I want to see it. You should definitely do a breakdown, and maybe do a breakdown with the interior as well. Maybe have the breakdown, the turntable, and then maybe take out the metal parts and then just see in the interior. Because it's a fantastic design, lovely design, and we don't really see much of it. And the shot is cool, but I think a turntable would be awesome. Congratulations, very well designed, and you're very talented to design objects and to design things. So you definitely will be very at home if you work on a company where they're designing ships and robots and doing hard surface modeling. You would really be very.
That would be
home.
That would be my ideal, to design
sci-fi,
design and build sci-fi elements.
Yeah, man, you are there. Like, this stuff looks beautiful. Just show it more. I want to see more. I want to see the rest. I want to see what's inside there and what's going on inside all those little neon little blue things inside, and all the on the back as well. You see all these really cool stuff inside her chest, and also on the background you see. There's a shit ton of things there, like the spine thing going on there with the little metal things. You even have like little, you did an entire skeleton inside. I can see that.
Yeah, so it's got like a spine. It's got all sorts. A lot of my stuff I start and then I just get carried away, and it just gets bigger and bigger. And
that's good. That's cool. Show it, man. Show it more. And if you can't afford to do turntables, if they're too expensive to render, just show some stills. Like, you can show some stills as well. Leave them overnight.
In a showreel, that's okay to do a still.
Yeah, if you can't render stuff, it's better than not showing it. You can also like render really high res stills and just pan on them and zoom them on them. You can just like use them as motion graphics, like do a little pan or do a little transit. Like, you can always do that and kind of make it look like it's moving. I definitely think it's great. People are loving your showreel. Which is good. I
have lots of close-ups of her and stuff on my Instagram. That's where I've started putting all this sort of stuff. So
cool, man. Tell me your Instagram. Let's have a look. I want to see more now.
It's 099 Creative. So I think that is just what it so
let's just gotta go to the search here. So sorry, you said 0909 Creative altogether.
099.
Oh, 99099.
The number, it's like 099 and then Creative, yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, there you go. Create. What am I doing? Creative. Carlos, yeah, here you go. Cool, man. Well, you already follow me. Thank you so much for that. And I'm now following you
Yes,
as well.
Oh, thank you.
I'm posting it on the chat. If anyone wants to see more of Carlos' work, go for it. And cool, man. You see, look at this. Like, where is this? Where is this? I want to see this stuff. Looks great. Look at that. Now, this is a great design you did here, man. Oh, look at that. That's cool. Yeah, you guys, yeah.
I could do with more followers on Instagram, so that's great.
Well, go for it, guys. Come on. Let's all follow Carlos here. You don't have a lot of people watching, and there's only 100 people watching, but, there will be more people watching it live. Like, a lot of people. Usually I get like a couple of thousand people watching it after the fact, so maybe they'll go and follow Carlos. You have some really good work here. Oh, I can see now there's also like what looks to me like older versions of this robot, isn't it? Which has different texturing, and this looks lovely. Yeah, this kind of like almost like golden plated little, really almost looks like an armor of a samurai. It's really great.
Yeah, and she's with a skull inside, and
yeah, this is great, man. Yeah, very cool work. You're very inspired by Japanese stuff. I can see that on your.
Yeah, I do tend to drift towards that sort of thing. Yeah.
Well, Chris is following at least. Chris X is following. You see?
Great. Thank you, Chris.
Okay, cool. I mean, this looks good. Yeah, I'll look into this a bit later. You have a nice spider here as well. Is this something you're doing now?
Yeah. So the spider is it does end up on the show reel.
Oh yeah, a bit later. There you go. Let's go back to the show reel. Okay, cool. So this is the cool thing. You have a minute only on the show reel, but you have a lot of stuff here. So which is good. Okay, so after the lovely robot cyborg / whatever, you have this really really cool character in front of what it seems to me a tree of pounds.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is a commercial product that was done as for a company that they actually train kids that leave school that are sort of fell through the education system. They train them to be entrepreneurs, give them the skills to start their own business and things like that. And they wanted a way of showing that to potential investors and also clients. They wanted a short animation, and I came up with this idea of making because in the whole animation, the clay guy, he evolves as it goes through and he learns new skills, and he's got a sort of cardboard ship that evolves as well. But this is just a small bit of it, so this is sort of the bit that explains how they explain finance and credit to them.
That's cool. And he's made of some kind of soap, like wax something, isn't it? It's like waxy.
He's like like blue tack plasticine sort of, because he sort of changes shape a little bit and as the thing goes on. So
and you did the whole thing?
Yeah, so the whole thing, so it's made to look a bit like, it's supposed to look like stop motion. So it's all made to look cardboard and
it looks great, man. You have this kind of really tactile texturing going on here as well. Like you can see the fingerprints. Yeah, it's great. It reminds me like of Aardman stuff as well. It's really, really nice. Cool, man. So this is an actual project, like a commercial. That's great. Yeah, cool, man.
So it's just for their website. I think they're going to hopefully do more stuff with it, but it's quite long and
cool.
They mostly just use it for internal comms, really. But
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, then we have the spider. So tell me a little bit about what's going on here. You're doing this. There's a lot of things going on here. He's moving all over the place. So what's the genesis behind this? Is this also like a real project, or is it a personal thing?
No, so that was a personal thing. So that spider, I made the spider just as a modeling exercise, and I did the sort of pictures, the close-up macro pictures of him that are on my Instagram, and I wanted to rig it so I could sort of see how rigging a spider, and then I thought I wanted to put it in the show reel, and I didn't want to just do a still, so I just sort of animated him, and then I just put him into a background so that there'd be something interesting light wise in his eyes and things like that, really. But
looks great. I think from a CG point of view, I mean, obviously I'm not going to judge the animation. Obviously the animation, it would have been nice if you would have collaborated with an animator, and then the animator could have done some animation for you. That would have been nice so that it moves a bit more realistic. But I think the only thing that I can see is that really like the hairs on the spider look a little bit thick. Some of the hairs are looking a little bit too thick, and to a point that they almost look like they're made of almost plastic, especially the ones on the mouth. So that would be the only, this is a small gripe. I think it looks fantastic. I just feel like some of the hairs on the mouth are a bit too thick. And this is only really a problem when we're really close on the very beginning of the shot. When we go a bit more back, and also you have the same kind of thing going on the arms, not the arms, the mouth. It has these kind of like two things coming out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but it's looking great. I think. Again, you can kind of see that some of the issues of the depth of field you're having with the hair, it's always a bit of a pain, motion blur and depth of field with hair. Whenever we're doing productions with hair, when we're comping them, we tend to do motion blur and depth of field in CG because it never works with depth of field passes, and it just never works. It's too many semi-transparency things going on. So, but yeah, it's terrific, man. It's really good work. Designed by you as well, or is it inspired by a real spider?
It's a mix of different spiders, but he's sort of bits of different jumping spiders. But yeah, he's not an actual real spider, but he's that sort of
cool, man.
Vaguely looks like one.
Cool, man. Okay, cool. And then next up, we go back to the same robot, but it's like a slightly different texture, I believe. With the eye, or is it the same one? No, wait a minute. Now it has yellow plates. Did it have yellow plates? The other one.
This one's like a more cybernetic. This one,
I see.
It's got a bit more of a
Yeah.
So it is. It's a similar. Just a similar treatment of that other robot, really, just in a slightly different.
It looks great.
Different facial, because it's got more rubber face, so it can animate a little bit more rather than the other one, which is like a solid plate. And then just put the it's got a bit of comp with some lens flares and things like that, but otherwise
it looks lovely. You've done a really good job with the eyes as well. It's quite expressive as well, because you open the pupils, they open up a bit, and you did a great job there, because it kind of looks like it's kind of looking at you and telling you something almost, like it's really nice. Yeah. So that one started with the eyes. It was an idea trying to texture some eyes, and then it went from the eyes to the face, and then I couldn't do the whole face, so that's why it ended up a robot with just a little bit of human skin around the eyes. So yeah, but I think it's lovely, the mixture between it. I think it's looking really nice. Again, like I said before, I think a turntable would be awesome if we can see the rest of your build. I think that would be awesome. And then you end the showreel with kind of the same, like a similar shot, a different part of the build of the set, but with your face, your email, and everything. Yeah, looks great. Looks nice. You have everything here. Cool, man. Well, congratulations. This is lovely work. And so, what's next for you then? Have you started sending this showreel, or what's going on?
Yeah, I have started sending it a little bit. I've sort of been applying because I'm a freelancer, so that's what I'm looking for. I should have said that at the start, really. Freelance work, so I've sent it to some agencies and people like that, but I don't really know what the next step is, really. It's different for me because it's got more of my personal work, and before, when I've sent out shows and before I've been commercial work, it's sort of I've hidden behind that a little bit. So this is a little bit more a bit more personal, but
the commercial work, what kind of so you're saying that there's quite a lot of other shots, I guess. Is that like similar type of work that you do in commercials?
No. So it's when I say commercial, I mean commercial as in for companies, not as in TV commercial. So they're more sort of like a machine. Someone wants a machine animated to show how that works, or a process in their factory, or they've got a product, that sort of thing. So that's what I've done. That's what I do generally, but I want to do more this sort of stuff. So I didn't put that in because obviously I'm always constricted to a budget and what the client wants. So it doesn't. The stuff I've done for people doesn't necessarily show what I'm capable of, which is why well
done.
Really.
Props for doing the personal work, because that's. Yeah, I've been on those situations as well. Like when I first started on my career, I was working for a pharmaceutical, for an agency, that only used to do pharmaceutical stuff, like X-ray machines, pharmaceutical equipment. And obviously our clients were not creative. They didn't really like creative stuff. So it was always all about making it photoreal or making it with motion graphics. And so it took me a while as well to get like a showreel that I could kind of like get a job from, because I had to like put personal work there as well. Or a lot of times I tried my best to try to convince certain clients to do certain things so that I could kind of like make the shots look a bit better, at least so that I could use it on my showreel. So it's a mix of both. But yeah, congratulations that you've done so much personal work. This is fantastic. And I think I wish you all best of luck. And I hope you send it over to as many places as you want. I think if you really want to get a job as a generalist on any of these companies for film or TV, you really need to kind of, I believe you need to focus a bit more your attention on having a few more breakdowns, a few more turntables, a few more of the examples of your shots. Because for a modeler, especially if you're a hard surface modeler, no one really is expecting you to animate or for you to be lighter. These are bonuses, of course. You already are very good with lighting and very good in general, but it's more important to showcase what you've done on turntables, and if they look nice, that's even better. So you already have that part covered. Your shots look nice and they have good lighting. But I just think you should intercut your showreel with a few turntables here and there. Your showreel is quite short anyway. It's a minute. I think it could definitely be 2 minutes if you put those those breakdowns and those turntables in. And I think from a point of view of making it impressive, I really feel if you want to grab the attention of the people trying to hire you, I think you need to like work up the order of these shots, because I feel like your best work is not necessarily in the beginning, and you need to start with your best work. And I must say, I'll be very honest, like as much as I like your intro with all the graphics, I feel like it might dissuade some people from watching the rest of the reel. I think it's good work, but it's not as good as the rest, and so because this thing, the beginning with your name, it's a shot already. So they're already judging you from this shot already. And this shot is not as good as, for example, the robot or the butterflies. Those shots are better. And so you're kind of doing a disservice to yourself, because if people are watching hundreds of showreels, they might look at this and skip it and not even watch the rest. So be careful with that. I feel like when I'm looking at your showreel, I feel like definitely the robot, the two robots, the one that is completely darker and also the one that has the eyes on the end, those are really definitely your best accomplished modeling shots. And then after that, I really like your children thing, like this kind of like with the money trees and this commercial thing that you've done with the little figure with the prints on his eyes. That is a lovely shot as well. And then of course the butterfly box that you have with the Japanese butterflies and then they all fly away. That's a lovely shot as well. These are much stronger shots, and they should be on the beginning of your showreel. I feel like the robot with the smoke is it's not as good as the other shots. It's also good, but it's not as good as the other shots. And then with that in mind, I think your robot drone is also not as good as those other shots. And then, of course, the flyby through the garden, the beginning is not working very well because of this weird texture. I feel like the shot could be cropped. You could edit the shot and just start the shot from already the floor and then going into the cloud, because that's a pretty part of the shot, And I think you just need to edit a bit more and move things around. I think the spider could be at the end maybe, or maybe almost close to the end, like, because the spider is also not as well achieved as the rest. So have a think about that and reorganize a bit your showreel, and maybe consider beginning the showreel with just your name on the screen over black, because I don't want people to have the wrong idea when they see this intro and they think that you're just putting a bunch of stuff on a scene just to like, just the random stuff. It's important for you to have a bit more focus on the showreel, and yeah, that's what I would say. Those are my 50 cents if you want to take
Yeah,
them.
no, that's great. Yeah, so I could do the shot and then perhaps the turntable of the thing from the shot after that. Do it that way. Yeah,
Exactly.
for some of them. Yeah,
And start on those shots that are stronger. Yeah, for sure.
Mm.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, it was
Right.
lovely to meet you, and I
no,
hope
thank
this
you for that.
was
That's brilliant.
I hope this was beneficial to you, and hope you have a
Yeah,
great day,
definitely.
man.
Yeah, and you. Thank you, Hugo.
Yeah. See you later. Bye.
Ciao. Adios.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much, Carlos. Thank you so much, Carlos, for that. That was lovely. Really enjoyed that showreel. People seem to enjoyed it a lot as well on the chat here. Make sure you go and follow Carlos on Instagram as well. He's doing a lovely work there. And I didn't say that during the call. Sorry, Carlos, but I hope you can come back and return and show the showreel again, and hopefully that will work. Okay, cool. Well, time flies. We're already over 2 hours and 45 minutes. This has been a long stream. Like I said, I got 20 showreels. There's no way we're going to do 20. We only did 2. So I think I'm going to wrap up with the third one. So we'll just do the third one, and then we'll wrap up, because I don't want the streams to be this long. So apologies to anyone else. I know I've contacted 5 people for the showreel. I kind of thought I was going to do 5 people, but I think now it's very obvious that I'm only going to be able to do 3. So that means that we are going to do the third showreel now. Well, I'm going to do a break first, but unfortunately, I really wanted to apologize to let's see here, where is his name? Sorry, I need to check his name. I wanted to apologize to you, G04. Because I might not get to you. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to you. Yeah, so that's going to be, let's see his name here. Sorry. Yeah, so Eugene Lennart, I think that's how you pronounce your name. So I don't think I'm going to reach your showreel today. So we'll do it next time. I am so sorry for that. And also, I don't believe I'll be able to go to Balkishan as well. So yeah, like I said, I think I have way too many showreels. So I definitely think I might just start doing this twice a week. I think it's probably going to be better if I do it twice a week, because then I can kind of like get more going. So so the third showreel we're going to do is going to be a showreel from and I'm apologize if I mispronounced. Your showreel is from a person called Prodyut Mahato. I think that's your name. I hope I'm pronouncing correctly. I hope so. So this is you're gonna be next. So, and then we're gonna continue. So okay, cool. Let's do a break. And I'll be right back in about 10 minutes, and then we'll do another giveaway, and then we'll do another showreel review, and then we're gonna wrap up the stream. Okay, so I'll see you very soon. See you in about 10 minutes, and I'll see you very soon. Hello and welcome everyone. We are back. This is the last section of this stream. It's been long. I'm sure I'm getting into the hang of this. I think I'm a bit rusty. Last time I used to do these things, I used to do them quite quickly, and we used to do a lot of them on Twitch. So I'm a little bit rusty. Apologies again because I contacted 5 people for today, and I'm only gonna do 3. I already apologize on Discord for the other 2 artists that I'm not going to do today. This is Eugene and also Balkishan. Thank you so much for sticking around, and I'm so sorry we're not doing you guys today. But we are going to return. I've already decided that I'm going to do this every 2 weeks. And so in 2 weeks from now, we'll do the stream again. Remember, next week, we're going to do a live stream with ActionVFX for Black Friday. We're going to have some really lovely Black Friday promotions and Black Friday gifts as well for everyone. So before we can continue, let's do another giveaway. I've left the link on the chat. I'm going to roll the dice again and see who wins this time. This again, remember, this is a giveaway for one of my free Nuke course. This is my Nuke course, which is 150 classes long, 75 hours long. It's complete covers Nuke from top to bottom, and it has also showreel material, and it's worth £250. And I'm gonna give it away for free to a lovely artist. So this time, the winner. Let's see here. The winner. Winner is... So this time I have a winner from Hong Kong. This will be not the last one. I'll have a last giveaway at the end of the stream. So we have a winner from Hong Kong. And this time we have Sheng Ka Shun. I think that's how I pronounce it. I hope so. So I have Sheng Ka Shun. I hope you're here. If you're here, just please say something or say hello, just so that I know that you're here, so that I can give you the course. And thank you so much for joining us. And I hope you're here. Let's see. I'm going to just wait a couple of minutes, see if you show up. I'm just waiting here. In the meantime, I'm going to prep for the next review. Okay, so we have, yeah, cool. So Marco is here. Shing Kan Shun. Congratulations. Congratulations, my friend. You've won the Nuke course. Hope you want the Nuke course. I hope so. And I hope you don't worry. I will contact you in tomorrow or the day after with it, and to give you access to the course. So I'll contact you. Don't worry. And congratulations for winning, and congratulations for sticking around for the entire course. Don't forget that I'm still going to do one more giveaway at the end. And for those of you interested on buying my Nuke course, my compositing course, don't forget that next week on Friday, I'm going to have a Black Friday sale. So the course will be heavily discounted next Friday. So stick around for that stream where we're going to do that as well. But yeah, without further ado, I'm going to bring in Prodyut. I think that's how I pronounce his name. He's going to tell me if I'm wrong or not. So I'm going to bring him in into the stream so that we can kind of do his showreel. So cool. Congratulations. I don't think I've ever done a showreel review with the Fox. Congratulations for joining me here. What would you like to tell... can you hear me? I'm just checking if you're here. Can you hear me? I think you're muted. Just unmute. There you go.
Yeah. I can hear you now.
Cool, excellent. So, are you happy for me to leave your icon, to leave your animated creature on the screen? Is that?
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's really nice actually. It's really really cute. So,
You think so?
could you tell me how I pronounce your name? Because I'm afraid I've maybe butchered your name. How do I say your name?
Yeah, you kind of butchered it. So
I'm
my
sorry.
name is Prodyut. It's actually Prodyut.
Prodyut. Okay, cool.
Yes, it's Prodyut Mahato.
I'm so sorry that I've mispronounced your name. I'm so sorry.
No, it's no problem. There are some accent issues.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you do, where you're calling from? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So yeah, let's start. I'm Prodyut. I'm a 3D artist. I specialize in lighting and environments. So I'm basically currently a college student. I'm in first year. I started my 3D journey as an architect actually. I was pursuing architecture when I met 3ds Max. So I met 3ds Max. I was doing those CAD models and stuff. When I found that 3ds Max can do architectural rendering and stuff, so I went into that. After that, I found my way into Blender because it was free and open source. So I started dabbling into more of the 3D, and from architecture, I came here to a 3D artist.
Congratulations for that lovely introduction. So, and tell me a little bit about what would you like to do? Like you said that you are starting, so you have a lovely showreel. We're watching the showreel right now while we are talking. Everyone is watching the showreel looping. And tell us a little bit about what are your aspirations? What would you like to do?
So currently I'm pursuing as a job for a lighting artist. So I really want to understand the basics of art and those color theory and composition stuff. So I'm currently dabbling into those, and also I'm learning renderman right now because renderman is, it's quite good. I just can't get enough of it.
Yeah, it's very good. I know. It's very, very good. I guess, especially for the type of work that you do, I think it's really good for that. But yeah. That's a good idea for you to learn that. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so is that so I guess you would like to be a lighter, I guess, on a film company?
Yeah.
Is that what you would like to do?
Yeah. I will be going for that. I think I might change my course after 3 or 4 years and get into the gaming industry, but currently I'm more into the film stuff.
Okay, cool. And how long are you going to be until you finish? Like you said, you're still a student, so how long is your course still going?
Currently I'm in first years. I have 2 more years to go.
Cool. Wow, that's cool. And forgive me if I've misunderstood. Where was it? Where are you studying? Which country and city?
I'm from India.
Cool.
I'm from India. Have you heard the place named Kolkata?
Yeah, I have. Yes, yeah.
Yes, I'm from there actually. So I live in Kolkata, but I study and in Bangalore.
Okay, cool. Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that you're calling so late. It's midnight now, and
Yeah.
it's
Uh,
it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm so sorry.
no problem. To get your feedback, it's enough for me.
Well, I'm. It's lovely for you to say that. Well, your work is amazing. Like, I really think you've done really good for someone that has just started. But I can
No, I
clearly,
actually started 2 years ago.
yeah. But I can clearly see what you're meaning with the architectural and the lighting. You're very good at lighting, and you have some really good work here. So obviously, I've noticed that everything is still. You haven't. Have you tried do animation? Have you tried rendering
Yeah,
cameras and animation? Have you done some of that already?
yeah, I have done those, but they went my best work, so I didn't put them in. And while I was rendering it in cycles, it took it took very long. So I had to cut the resolution into half, and the animatic was completely, what do you call it, noisy.
Yeah, of course, yeah, and of course, yeah. That's normal because obviously you need a lot of render power to do shots like this. So there's nothing wrong with stills at all. Like I'm not saying anything about that. I was just curious if you were starting to dabble into animated cameras and animated shots. Maybe that could be done in the future. Like I don't know if your school has some kind of power computers that they can render. I don't know if they have any facilities for that.
Yeah. Actually, I'm a self-taught artist. I go to my college for my business. What do you call it? BBA.
Oh, I see, I see. So it's not like a visual effects course that you're doing.
No, no, it's not a visual effects course.
Oh, cool. Well, congratulations. You are very talented for someone learning by himself. Where are you learning for the people watching? Like, how did you come up with learn all these things? Like, was it online on YouTube? How was it?
Yeah, it's all online. It's all on YouTube. I mean, there's a huge community around Blender, and what was I going about? What was I about to do? I'm sorry, sorry, I'm dabbling.
No, it's fine. It's not a problem. Now
Uh,
it's
so
your
uh,
time to talk. Go for it.
So I started with 3ds Max. I started with the CAD models and stuff. Then I got into architecture visualization. Then somehow when I was doing the 3D stuff, I got into Blender Groove, the everything for Blender artists. So from there I started my journey, and since then I have been doing Blender for almost 1 year. Then I started dabbling into more softwares such as Katana, Arnold, Maya, and stuff. So since then, I have come this way. I always wanted to try Nuke. Actually, I have Nuke on my PC, laptop, but I haven't started it yet. I'm kind of more of a Fusion guy.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Fusion is very good and it's free, So yeah, it's thing.
Yeah,
I'm very software agnostic. I keep telling people they don't it doesn't matter what you use, it matters what you do with it. So it doesn't matter. Cool, man. Well, very very nice. So let's get going with the showreel review. Let's just go through it. Well, first off, you have all the information, your email, your phone number, everything here on the beginning. That's great. Everyone will find you very easily, and you've written what you want, what this showreel is about: lighting, look, dev, and environment. That's great. I think that's really good, so that everyone watching this knows exactly what they're looking for, and it's currently 1.5 minutes, which is really a sweet spot. I think you did good. You did good to make it short. That's nice. To respect the time of people watching, it's always good. So let's start with the first shot. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this first shot? This first shot is this girl with the headphones. Like what's
yeah.
what's behind this shot? What's behind this thing?
That shot actually is one of my most revised sorts. Revised sorts. So it generally started with cyber. Most of my personal projects are based on inspirations from movies and stuff. So this girl, she's based on a cyberpunk environment. So I watched this movie called Blade Runner 2049, and I
Yep.
was inspired that female lead. I think her name was Joy or something else, something like that. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
remember.
she was the hologram that he had on his house, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I was basically trying to make her resemble as sorry, my English not quite good.
No,
So I
no,
was
don't
basically
worry.
trying
You're
to
doing
make her
great.
I was basically trying to make her resemble to that character, but after I think 5 to 6 revisions, I lost faith in myself, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do this anymore. So then after that, sometime they came this anime called Cyberpunk Edge Runners. So I came back into this project. There was another main lead in that in that anime named as Lucy, I think. So most of the inspiration for her is basically taken from her. I
Hmm.
was trying to recreate Lucy, but as you know, I'm not a character artist, so I couldn't do it fully. This is actually most probably kid bashing me all through the stuff.
Yeah. I think it looks great. I think you did a great job. I would say that I would love to see a bit better what you've achieved. So it would have been nice if you had a turntable so we can see it rotating in 360, so we could see other parts of the body and other parts of the character.
The clothes were a complete mess. Actually, the backside of it, I did what do you say? I did very bad sculpting on the backside of it. So if I do a turntable, all of my all of my work would go in waste.
But you see, that's not good. Like, because if your model can't live up to different angles, it's going to become a problem on work. So you need to kind of like, the next time you approach something like this, you need to make sure your model works from any angle, because that's going to happen in production. Like, they're going to change the cameras, they're going to change the animation. Don't know what's going to happen to the character, so you always need to be ready for it to work on any angle on any part. But I think it looks good. I think you're hiding it a little bit with this depth of field. I think it's a bit too much, so it's not really easy to see the character, because I think you've abused a bit the compositing. But yeah, I think it's a great design. Congratulations with that.
Actually, the back of a head is completely bald. I didn't want to waste my time in there, so I was like, "Who's gonna see that? Let it be."
Well, but I know, but for this shot, you don't know when is going to see it. But you remember that if you're working in production, they might see it, because if so you need to like always do the whole thing. Like, never like this is for me like it's too much of a shortcut. You need to kind of like be careful with that. Okay, cool. So
I'm gonna take a note of that.
Yeah, always try to make your. I know it's a lot more work, but always try to make them so that they work on any angle, because that's why it's 3D. Because otherwise, you see, might as well you would have done it in Photoshop just as a still, so because that's then you would have become a concept artist or a matte painter. It's not like if you're going to be a 3D artist, you need to make sure it works all around, that we can see the model on any angle, and then also that would help for us to see a turntable of it. Okay, so then the next shot, which is this zombie. Looks really nice. Like, you did a really good job with the realism. Again, I think you've abused the motion blur a bit. Sorry, the depth of field too much, so that we don't see all the details. But what's going on with this shot? Tell us a little bit about this shot.
The zombie one.
It's the second shot on your showreel. Yeah, the zombie person.
Zombie one.
Yeah.
So, as I already told, these are all actually inspired from the movies I watch. So this one is actually based on Resident Evil.
Cool.
So I was watching Resident Evil, and I was like, "Whoa, man, this zombie looks really good." The model is not done by me; it's actually from Sketch5. I got this model from Sketch5. I would think it was somewhat like $10 to $20. I don't remember the exact price, but it was $10 to $20. The model was quite good, but I had to do the shaders. I had to redo the shaders because they weren't quite fitting in nicely, and I also had to do some changes in the hair. So it was practically I got the model, I rigged it in Mixamo, and then there's this new add-on which helps you get the rigged version of the character in Blender, and you get that rigging on the stuff out from that add-on. So I got it. Then I did a little bit of posing, and after that, sometime I had to open a mouth somehow. So I I actually did a little bit of cheats in there. It may be visible if you look at it closely, but I did a little bit of cheating in there.
Mm-hmm. And does this one also work on other angles, or does it just work from the front?
No. It's a model from another guy, so it works on all angles.
So you've done the like you said, you've done the look dev and the lighting, and yeah, it looks
Yeah.
nice again. I think you did a good job. But whenever you see a still like this, I want to see the rest. Like I want to see the turntable, I want to see other angles and other parts of the image, because it's lovely that you've done this still, which looks realistic with the depth of field and everything. But where is the rest? How does the rest look like? I think it's very important for you to get accustomed to that, to show it as a turntable, because you see, if you look closely here to your beginning on your showreel, it says lighting, look dev, and environment, and that's the showreel that you're trying to make. And so yes, you're showing look dev and you're showing lighting, but you're so close to the objects, and you're so close to these objects that we hardly see anything. Because you're doing a close-up, you're doing such a dramatic shot. So I think I would want to see maybe the camera a bit pulled out. Maybe leave this one and then make another one where we see it a bit more far away, so we can see a little bit more and better the rest. But yeah, I think it looks nice. Good work.
So yeah, till now I completely neglected the camera and the photo. I mean the depth of field parts and those stuff. I just went in there and got some models, did the textures, did the look dev, the compositing and lighting. I just used to put the camera in front of a character
Mhm.
and hit the render button. But nowadays I started to understand that no, there's something known as a wider lens. There's something known as a
Yeah, of
what
course.
do you call it?
Yeah, of course.
Depth of field bokeh and stuff. So
Yeah,
I
exactly.
learned about that recently. So I'm currently implementing those in my works too.
Yeah, of course.
Because in this shot, I don't think I don't even remember what millimeter of camera I used in this.
Yeah, well, it looks to me like it's at least a 50 mil. It looks to me like that.
I think I use from 35 to 45 for my widescreen and 75 for my portraits.
Yeah, of course. Okay, cool. Well, let's get to the next shot. This comes with experience, With experience, you're going to start using the language of lenses and the language of depth of field, and this will come with experience. Like you said, you're just, you've been doing this for a very short amount of time. Those kind of things come later, and don't worry too much about it. I think with time you'll start to understand how depth of field works. This all has to do with what I said on the beginning of the stream, where people should go and learn photography. They should go and take photos. They should go and kind of develop on that side. So if you do that, if you go and get a camera, take some photos, you'll start immediately understanding the language of depth of field and lenses, and that will really come then that will come into your work, which is good. Okay, so then after the zombie here, we have this girl on the top of a hill with the starry sky. This is a lovely shot that you've done here. Tell us a little bit about what's behind this and what's happening here. Is this like also a model that you get somewhere else, or did you create this?
Which one?
The shot after. So I'm following your showreel in a row. So after the zombie, you have the girl on top of the hill.
Hey, this may be a little too much to ask, but can I get a little bit of sponsor section or something? I mean, can you do a little bit of sponsor section? I think my laptop is running out of charge, so I need to connect it to a charger. I will be really quick with it.
That's not a problem. Yeah, sure. That's not a problem.
I will back in a minute. I will swear I will back in a minute.
Not a problem. Go for it. So, okay, so I'm going to go into the chat now for a second while we're waiting for him to come back. I really would love for, let's keep it nice and tidy on the chat. So please don't I can see that there's some little bit of friction here going on here. Don't be like that. I don't know if there was any questions. I've been really neglecting the chat this stream. I am so sorry about that. So I don't know if there was any questions that people had during the chat. I haven't really been checking the chat. I haven't really been reading what's going on there. I usually go there and check later. So if you do have questions, maybe consider putting them in, and I can try to answer some of them at the end. We're almost done with this showreel review. We're already halfway through, and then we'll do the last giveaway. So if you have some questions, just write them on the chat. And if you wrote the questions before, apologies that I didn't get to them, but do ask the questions on the chat now, and then I'll get to them in like a couple of minutes. Okay, cool. You're back. Look at that. You're all back
I'm
now.
back.
You're
I
all
ran
back
really
now.
fast.
So you're all good. You're charged and everything. Cool. Excellent.
Yeah, I'm all good now.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, about the girl shot now.
Yeah. Go for it. So I wanted to know a little bit about it. Like, is this also a model that you've bought, or did you model this? What's going on here?
This is actually a question I wanted to ask someone specializing in VFX for a long time. So the model actually is a game model. Have you heard of this game known as Genshin Impact?
I have, yeah. I have read it, yeah.
So it's an official model by those guys MiHoYo. So they actually gave it to the community to go and play with it. So I actually used it in my showreel. Is it good or is it bad?
No, that's fine. If they given away for people to use, it's very, very good for you to use. So, I'm so sorry, I forgot to put the showreel again going, so people now can watch it as well. I think if they give it away for people to use, I think you should use. I think this is fine. This is very normal. Like, you're still starting, you're still a junior, so you can use whatever you can find on the internet. So that's normal, So
yeah. So then that would be really
yeah.
good. So now the environment, right? So the environment is actually the scattering and all the landscape is done in Blender. The problem I faced was with this character. The character you see here, when I went into look dev, she was complete. So Genshin MiHoYo actually put what do you say it? Toon shading. The character was actually built for toon shading. So I had to redo all the shaders by myself and convert all the toon shaders into a physically based shading. So when I went to do that, it actually took a lot of my time. So first of all, I did this environment. This was actually from a tutorial by James Films on YouTube, I think. So I did it. Then I went for the character. So I found the character on the site of Genshin Impact. They were giving it for free for learning purposes. So I got it. So as you can see here, there's an emblem on a bag.
I can see it. Yeah.
It actually denotes that she's a caster type, and she actually what do you say it? God damn it, my English.
It's okay.
Yeah, basically, let me just go put you through my workflow. So I basically sculpted this landscape in Blender, got some scattering done in Houdini, then got it back in Blender. Then I got this character from MiHoYo. So it was actually toon shaded. So I went back into Blender, redid all the textures and shaders to make it look as good as possible in the principal BSDF thing, the physical based rendering and stuff. Then I got these insects are actually very low poly insects I got from Sketchfab too. So I put them in there. And I tried using using composition in this. So leading lines to show that these fireflies are actually coming out from the bag of this little girl. Her name's actually Klee. So that's how I got with the shot. The scene was actually done in two parts. The first one was done in Blender, The second one was done in Unreal Engine. So the night one you are seeing right now, this was done in Unreal Engine, but there was also a day version which I did in completely in Blender.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I got with this shot.
Cool. I think it's a lovely shot. You did a great job. But again, I'm going to say the same thing I said on the shot before. I would have loved to see something else. Maybe a camera
tables and animatics.
Maybe even if you don't have a turntable, at least move the camera around so that we can see it a bit better. You know, even if you had this rotating around and we could see around it, it would be nice. And I think I would say this about your breakdowns. I don't think there's a point of you showing me the AOVs. You know, you're showing me the ambient occlusion, the diffuse, and the diffuse direct. There's no point of you showing me this. Like, we all know that these are AOVs from the CG render. You know, either you do a breakdown, and that's a breakdown where you see the whole thing evolving and the shot is being built. But for you to show just the EOVs, I think this is a waste of time on the showreel. Like, sincerely, honestly, I think there's no point of you showing this. Nothing gets gained by this. This is automatic from the render engine. All the render engines in the world do this directly. There's no skill set on outputting AOVs. So I would skip them and really focus my attention on getting a camera moving, or a turntable, or a camera moving somewhere on the shot, instead of. And if you really want to do a breakdown, then do a proper breakdown where we would see the final shot, and then you would wipe the grayscale version, then wipe a couple of passes, and then pass, and then wipe the color correction, and then wipe the glows. Maybe 5 or 6 steps on the breakdown, and that was it. I think that would be very important for you to do, you know. So.
Okay, I think I need to note that down.
You need to write that down? Yeah, you can write that down later, because you can watch this as many times as you want. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, sure.
You can always, as soon as we finish this stream, you can just start watching it again. The link is the same. So the link, this video will be on my YouTube channel forever. So you can just like watch it again, go back and watch it again. And this is normal. I always tell this to everyone. I always usually put chapters. So eventually, later tonight and tomorrow, you're going to find chapters on the YouTube video, and then you can jump into your reel directly. There will be a chapter with your name, and then you can go directly to your reel.
Excuse me, can I ask a question?
Of course.
I think when I'm watching this reel again, I think I'm finding a lot of mistakes, but I want to ask you, as a senior compositor, is the glare too strong on these guys?
No, I don't think so. I think this looks great. I feel like the glare and the glow looks very nice, because this is a stylized shot. It looks pretty. It's fantasy. I think this is great. You know, I think you did a great job. I don't think it's a problem on compositing at all. You know, don't worry. Cool. So next up, we have, after this girl, we have another girl with a sword this time, and she's inside a room. This is your last shot. Tell us a little bit about this shot.
The same old story as far as all my shots. This is also based on inspiration I took from games and movies. The next one too is based on Genshin Impact. The character's name's Beidou. She's also from MiHoYo.
Cool.
They actually give away models for free and educative purposes. So you can just go in there, type in models from Genshin Impact for free, and you can just play around with those. So the thing is, the environment, those are from a concept artist from India, named as, I think his name was Suren Rajawat. I think that what he was called. So the environment is completely based on his concept. I recreated it completely in 3D. And so if I move the camera, maybe you would have been able to see it more clearly, but I think I have lost my file somewhere. So the concept is completely based on that, and the character is based on the Genshin thing, again, as I told you. And this character too was completely toon shading. Yes, this character was completely made for toon shading. So when I was in the look dev stage, I had to completely redo her shading to make it look good in a physical based render engine, BSDF, or PBR shading. I had to completely do a shading to make it look good in PBR. and these slimes are just models. I got some textures from the online game Genshin, and I roughly modeled them. These are just signs which appear in the game while you can fight them and kill them. So the character so she's actually keeping them as pet. That's what I wanted to show. There isn't quite actually a story on it, but I was just copying the concept artist and recreating this in 3D.
Cool.
So the story isn't quite there.
Cool, man. Well, I mean, that's the last shot. Again, like I said before, I think next step for you, because you are talented and you have some good work here on the showreel. I think the next step is really skip all these diffuse directs, diffuse and all these AUV passes that you don't need, and focus your attention on making some camera work for these things, and focus your attention to showing more of these environments. And I think if you want to work as a lighter and as an environment artist, you should consider in the future, when you now continue learning more and more, you should consider doing a shot that involves an object, a CG object that is actually in a real environment. I think that would be your next step, because at the moment, all of these are just full CG and full CG shots. And if you want to be a lighting artist, you really need to know how to handle a shot that has a background that was photographed. So that means compositing one of these characters maybe on a real photo or a real piece of footage on something that is real, so that you can try to match this CG into something real. I think that's what's missing in your showreel. But you have
matching with live action footage.
Yeah, that's the next step, really. I feel like this is really cool. You have some really good work here. Congratulations. And I would remove these AOV breaks that you have between the shots where you just show the three AOVs. I would remove that. Try to put in some camera work on some of these shots. Maybe if you can't do that, maybe do a turntable. And then at the next step, you should try to focus on a shot where you comp something for real somewhere, Either it could be an object of some kind, or it could be a character of some kind, or a robot of some kind, something. Just to comp it on a real environment, I think that should be your next step,
So, hey, may I ask a question?
Of course.
So about this last shot where this girl, her name's Bedo actually. So she's in this position and she's from concept art. So I think in my reel she doesn't look quite good. So should I remove her? I think the length would then decrease of my reel. But should I remove her? I don't quite like how it fits in my reel. So should I remove her, or should I just let it be?
No, I mean, if you don't like it, then that should be removed, of course. I feel like from all of your work in your showreel, by far, I think the third shot is the best one. The shot of the girl on top of the hill with the sparkly sky and the starry sky. That's the most pretty shot you have. I feel like your second best shot is the zombie. I think the zombie looks great as well. And then after that, I would say that I think the worst shot you have on your showreel is a split. I think it's a tie for me. It's either the last shot or the first shot. I think those are the worst shots of your showreel. So you need to reorganize your showreel and start with something stronger than what you're starting with. But I definitely think that you don't necessarily need to remove that last shot. But if you don't like it, you should, because you should never have things you don't like on your showreel. But I think you need more. You need other shots. You need other types of shots on your showreel. Like I said, like the shots that have realistic lighting and backgrounds and things like that, So, but this is really good work. So congratulations, and I hope to see you in the future. I hope to see more of your showreels,
Yeah, and I was here like the first shot is the best shot. Yeah, and I was like, oh my god.
Cool, man. Well, yeah. I mean, I see here, there's a really good advice on the chat. There's an advice from a person called, someone called Kane, I think. He says, instead of having AOV breakdowns, as a lighter, I would have some different lighting. Maybe show nighttime, maybe show daytime, Try different
Yeah.
moods. This is a really good advice. This is really good advice.
I really learned that recently. So
Yeah.
I'm currently working on updating my reel.
Yeah, it's very good.
So
It's very,
that's why when I heard you were doing this, I was like, I need to go there. I need to go there.
yeah. You should check out when we're done. When you rewatch this on YouTube, you can watch the live chat at the same time, because it's also the live chat is also replayed in real time, so you can always read some of the comments and some of the feedback. There's some nice feedback here as well. Ken is giving some feedback. He's a lighter since 2008, and he also said the same as me, to remove this diffuse pass thing, and so he's saying the same stuff. Well, man, thank you so much for joining, and I'll let it be and let you go, and hope to see you again, and hope you can submit a show reel in the future. Hope you have a nice day, man. I'll see you later.
Nice meeting you, sir.
Nice to meet you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so cool. Well, that was it. That's the last show reel we're doing today. Again, I apologize that we didn't do all 5 that I kind of promised. Well, I said 4, 5 maybe. It's just that we can't really keep going for much longer. We're almost 4 hours long already. So I told BenQ this is going to be 2 hours long. It's already 4. So thank you so much again for BenQ for sponsoring the stream. Much appreciated. But it is, a learning curve. I need to make them shorter. And I'm definitely going to make them every 2 weeks. I think that's going to be beneficial for everyone. So before we go, I have some questions here. And then before we do the questions, I have one last Nuke course that I'm going to give away to a lucky viewer of this stream, and then we're going to go away. So here's your last chance to sign up to the Nuke course giveaway. And while you're waiting for this thing, I'm going to answer some of the questions here. Kehen is saying, really cool of you doing these reviews, people starting in the industry. Well, thank you so much for saying that. I used to do these all the time. I did these showreel reviews on Twitch every week almost for 2 years. I'm really happy that I'm back. Okay, let's see here. I think there was a few questions. Let me just see here. Cyber FPS is asking, how will the Unreal Engine affect the compositor's post-production pipeline in the future? Well, it's already affecting the pipeline. We're already having Unreal rendered shots into comp in pipeline. It won't really change much, but it will allow us to have more passes and quicker renders into compositing. I mean, from a point of view of compositing full CG, of course it affects, because a lot of the stuff that you would do in comp is now going to be done in real time. So you'll have to do less in compositing, but you'll still have to do some stuff in compositing. But if you're talking about live action with merging CG, then it's really not going to make much of a difference, because if you're doing the CG in Unreal, you still need to comp it into footage. So it's not going to make a lot of difference from what we have right now. Let's see here. Someone was asking here about Blender. I saw that. So Nadu Design is asking, can a 3D generalist survive with only Blender, Houdini, and Nuke? Definitely, I think so. I mean, Blender is starting to be used more and more in the industry. A lot of companies are embracing it. It's all about the skill set, so it doesn't matter which software you're using. You should all be software agnostic. It's all about the skill set, the core skills. Lighting, composition, photography. It doesn't really matter if we've done it in Blender, Maya. Hey, you can do and use whatever you want. Obviously, if you work in a film company, you might need to adapt to the pipeline they have, but you can definitely transition those skill sets into a different software. That's definitely possible, Okay, so one last question. Naktao S says, hello, Hugo from France. Thanks for all your advice in your incredible course. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, Chris S is asking, how do you know when you're ready to be a compositor? I've been working freelance in the commercial world for a couple of years, but I'm not sure how to know if I'm ready for the industry. Well, it seems to me, Chris, that you already are a compositor, because if you're working already in commercials, you're already a compositor. You're already working in the industry. If your question is about if you're ready to work in film, if that's the question, then of course that means that you just need to have a showreel that would reflect shots that would be found on film. For all of you that want to work in film, you just need to do a showreel that has shots that would be similar to the shots that exist on films. That means having some keying, having some roto, having some CG, some matte painting, some cleanup. That will be always the case, Cool. I'm going to do the last draw of the last winner here. Let's see here. Who's the last winner of my Nuke course? Remember, this is my Nuke course that I have for sale. It's 150 classes, 75 hours long. It's a very comprehensive course. Includes all the showreel material and all the footage as well. And the last winner of the course, let's see here if he's here. I hope he is. Last winner of the Nuke course is... So it's Moshin Parkar. I think that's how I pronounce your name. I hope so. So it's Monshin Parkar. I hope you're here. This is from Dubai, from United Arab Emirates, from Dubai. So today we had a winner from UK, one from Hong Kong, and one from Dubai. So hope you're here. If you're not here, you're not going to win it. That's how it works. But hope you're here. While I'm waiting to see if he's here, I'm gonna see the last question here. So Cyber FBS asks, if the compositor is getting less work than before the Unreal Engine, what would be the best skill upgrade they can go for, just in case? I don't think they're gonna get less work. If anything, we have more work. It's just that you're going to be doing other things. Compositors are always going to be doing rotoscoping and keying and blending all the passes together and all the renders together, regardless if they come from Unreal, if they come from Arnold, if they come from Pixar, from RenderMan Pixar. It doesn't matter where they come from. Even if they come from Unreal, they still need to be comped together with other things, other passes, other stock footage, other footage that was filmed. It's always a bit like there's a lot of things going on, and there's so much work right now. So, okay, so I just answered your question, Cyber. Okay, so is Parkar here? Because I've already wrote that he won. Is he here? Am I gonna have to do this thing again? Is he here? Are you here? Is the last one before we go. This stream is really long. It's already been 4 hours long. Before we go, I wanted to again thank, as I've been saying, I want to thank BenQ for supporting the stream and for helping this be a reality. Thank you so much, BenQ, for that, for making this possible. I don't think he's here because I don't see him saying hello. Yeah, I think I'm gonna roll the dice again because he's not here. So I think I might roll the dice. Let's roll the dice again. So I'm gonna repick the winner. So let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna repick the winner and see what happens. Okay, I have a new winner now. This time is from Romania. So okay, let's see. Last winner is Dan Petro Varga. Dan Petro Varga. I hope you're here. We have these dating sites again on this thing. I thought I got rid of this, but I guess I can't anymore. I'm taking them out. So is Dan Petro here? Studio Deves is saying, obrigado for all the knowledge, info, and time. No problem. It's my pleasure. Don't forget, I'm gonna be here doing this every 2 to 3 weeks. We're gonna be doing it several times a month, so we'll be back. We'll do more. Okay, so Dan Petro Varga, is he here? Oh, it's you. Okay, so let me just see here. Yeah, you're right. It is you. Cool. Well, congratulations. You've won my Nuke course. I don't think I ever had a winner to Romania, I believe so. So congratulations, my friend. So today we had 3 winners. We had David Matthew from the UK. We had Chen Kan Chun from Hong Kong. And then we had Dan Petro Varga from Romania. Congratulations to all 3 of you. In a few days, probably tomorrow or the day after, I will be contacting you and giving you all the logins and all the information. And that's it, really. I guess that's it. We are done today. Apologies for everyone that could not get to the stream. I am so sorry that we only did 3. It was a very long stream. Don't worry, we're going to do them more again. I thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much to BenQ for sponsoring this stream. Please make sure you thank BenQ for doing this, to make this possible. I hope to see you all next week. Don't forget, next week, we're going to be doing a live stream on Black Friday. That's going to be next Friday. And 1 week from now, exactly 1 week from now, this is going to be a Nuke compositing stream with some Q&A. And we're going to be giving away some stuff as well. And Black Friday deals will be happening from ActionVFX. They're going to be sponsoring the stream. And also, I will also be doing a Black Friday deal for my Nuke course as well. So I hope you can join me next week on Friday for the Black Friday stream. And I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye. Goodbye.